What's happening, Manhwa champions? Don't forget to leave your feedback and smash that like button. Now let's dive into this epic tale. On a dimly lit night, beneath the soft glow of a high crescent moon, a beautiful yet solitary house stands quietly. Inside, a gentle cough breaks the silence, echoing faintly through the halls. In a modestly furnished room illuminated only by a flickering candle, two men sit across from each other, separated by a humble wooden table. Two cups rest silently upon it. Murmurs one man, his voice deep and weathered. I've waited decades, and yet you offer only one cup. You truly are cold-hearted. The speaker, an elderly man named Great Regression, gently strokes his long snow-white beard as years of hardship and wisdom mark his tired face. Across from him sits another man, clad in a warm blue robe. His silver hair, equally long but disheveled, partially obscures his eyes. Silently, he stares down at the lone cup before him. Ryongja leans forward, carefully pouring wine into his friend's cup, breaking their silence. Come to think of it, Ryongja continues softly, pouring himself another cup. When we first met, we were both young men full of ambition. How quickly the time has passed. Their eyes meet, sharing a silent, heavy gaze. The friend, bearing a distinct scar across his eye, looks deeply troubled as memories flood his thoughts. Ryongja, narrating with a reflective voice, adds quietly, "It was about 40 years ago when I first encountered this man." Suddenly, a younger version of the silver-haired man strides into a hall, clutching a sword firmly in his grasp. Ryongja's younger self turns, facing him directly, announcing, "The Great Regression Technique, a legendary achievement of the Gui family, a method studied and passed down through generations, nearly impossible to master. I have finally completed it." Images of a vast library, shelves overflowing with countless ancient texts, flash by. Ryongja, sitting among these treasures, initially smiles triumphantly at his breakthrough, only to later slam books down in frustration, crumpling pages in despair. 5 materials are needed, Ryongja says gravely, listing each with precision. The Thunder Bell, sacred artifact of the Heavenly Wind Cult. A majestic silver bell etched with mysterious symbols appears. The Divine Incense Brazier, treasured artifact of the Divine Dragon family. An ornate golden cauldron adorned with a mighty dragon glimmers vividly. The KOI essence of the 10,000-year carp. A vibrant golden blue carp gracefully swims beneath tranquil waters. The secret demonic soul of the demonic cult. An ominous pill radiating dark, pulsating energy comes into view. And finally, 5 million nyang, Ryongja concludes, shaking his head. I managed only the money. Everything else was beyond my reach. Yet you, my friend, acquired it all over decades, even vanishing mysteriously to procure the elusive secret demonic soul. Returning to the present, Ryongja stares into his wineglass, his own aged reflection distorted by ripples of wine. It's hard to believe, he mutters, astonished. How on earth did you obtain all those impossible materials? Without hesitation, the silver-haired man drains his cup in one decisive gulp. I despise that accursed technique for its absurd demands. I even thought about simply killing you, he admits bluntly. Ryongja remains composed, quietly sipping from his own cup, his expression unreadable. Internally, the silver-haired man reflects deeply. When we first met, we were both young, and now his hair is entirely white. The very AIR around him has changed drastically. Was such drastic transformation inevitable just to obtain these cursed materials? Breaking the intense silence, Ryongja finally asks, I've wanted to ask you for a long time now. Why exactly are you so desperate to return to the past? Suddenly, with shocking ferocity, the silver-haired man slams his cup down onto the table. Eyes blazing red with fury, he growls fiercely. For revenge! Ryongja recoils slightly, sweat trickling down his forehead as he cautiously questions further. Were your skills truly insufficient for revenge? Was regression your only option? Yes, comes the stern reply, laced with bitter resolve. Then who exactly do you hate so deeply? Ryongja whispers anxiously, dread coloring his voice. The silver-haired man leans forward, eyes burning intensely, uttering a single name, Hua Mugi. Absolute terror grips Ryongja's face. His eyes widen dramatically, sweat now dripping freely down his pale skin. Memories flash vividly before him. The Murim Alliance leader, dead, his lifeless body sprawled on the ground. The unorthodox Alliance leader, slain, multiple swords buried deep into his corpse. The heavenly demon, pierced by 3 blades, slumped defeated upon his grand throne. The strongest martial artist across all history. We see an ominous figure towering atop an immense mound made from hundreds of thousands of bodies, each pierced gruesomely by swords. This figure, shrouded in darkness, radiates overwhelming menace, clearly the strongest warrior of this era, Hwa Mugi. Snapping back to reality, the old man nervously protests, sweat dripping heavily down his brow. Even if you regress to the past, you can't possibly defeat him. Even so, the silver-haired man responds with fiery determination, his eyes glinting with fierce resolve. I must kill him, no matter the cost. The old man's eyes widen in shock as the silver-haired man reveals coldly, the heavenly demon he killed was my father. A chilling silence fills the room before he continues bitterly. But I'm not seeking revenge simply because he killed my father or even my deceitful snake of a brother. Their deaths aren't unusual for people who've surrendered their lives to demonic paths. Then why, the old man interjects, perplexed and anxious. Because, the silver-haired man says, dark smoke seeping ominously from his body, on that day, Hwa Mugi massacred innocent servants, cooks, and even children who knew nothing of martial arts. Horrific visions emerge. Lifeless bodies of innocent servants and children sprawled tragically across blood-soaked floors, their pets lying motionless beside them. Hwa Mugi would never, the old man begins, disbelief etched on his face. It doesn't matter whether you believe me or not, the silver-haired man interrupts sharply. In this lifetime, I won't be able to kill him. That's why I must return to the past. And when I face him again, I will demand to know why someone as powerful as him felt the need to slaughter even the helpless. Silence falls heavily once more. Eventually, the old man softly breaks it. If the Great Regression Technique truly succeeds and you return to the past, can you do me a favor? What is it? The silver-haired man asks curiously. Come find me, the old man implores passionately, and stop me from getting married. Confusion briefly crosses the silver-haired man's face before laughter escapes him, but the old man remains serious, urging earnestly, I mean it. Tell me to remain alone forever. Finally, the silver-haired man smiles slightly, conceding, all right, I promise. They rise together, the silver-haired man swaying unsteadily. The old man rushes forward in concern. Are you all right? I'll manage, he replies weakly. Losing one arm and an eye was a small price for obtaining the secret demonic soul. They enter another room where the sacred treasures lie. The old man carefully picks up a small ornate box, opening it reverently to reveal a dark, sinister bead pulsing with immense, foreboding power, the demonic soul. The old man carefully arranges the treasures together, clasps his hands solemnly, and begins chanting deeply. The artifacts resonate, each vibrating with escalating intensity. Golden inscriptions swirl throughout the room, intertwining with a powerful blue aura emanating from the old man. Suddenly, a dazzling burst of majestic light floods the chamber, followed by powerful winds that whip through the space violently. As the brilliance fades, reality itself seems to crack, giving birth to a red-purple golden portal swirling ominously in midair. I did it, the old man exclaims, eyes wide and filled with ecstatic disbelief. He spins to his friend in joyous triumph. Do you see this? I told you, I did it! But his jubilant expression quickly fades as he notices his companion, slumped heavily against a pillar, breathing labored and pained. The silver-haired man remains silent, eyes filled with exhaustion and sorrow. I'm sorry, the old man whispers, his voice trembling with guilt and sadness. Stepping toward the swirling abyss, he turns briefly, promising sincerely, I swear I'll find you and warn you about the coming disaster. The silver-haired man sits quietly, tattered robes hanging loosely, his strength depleted, as the old man bravely steps forward into the dark, mysterious portal that awaits him. Moving steadily towards the swirling portal, the old man's voice trembles with emotion. It's my family's greatest wish to return to the past. It's my wish, too. Suddenly, his expression shifts to pure fear as sweat trickles down his forehead. He freezes abruptly, eyes wide in shock. I can't move. My demonic acupoints have been sealed, he realizes in panic, slowly forcing his trembling head around. Behind him, 4 golden points glow intensely on his back. Great Regression, mutters the silver-haired man, now standing ominously behind him, his face twisted in anger. How could you do this? Hey, Regression manages weakly, his entire body shivering in fear. Without warning, the silver-haired man appears directly beside him, fury evident in his gaze. Of all people, he seethes, gripping Ryongja's throat and slamming him forcefully to the ground. Bam! Pain jolts through Ryongja's body as he crashes onto the hard floor. Looking up pleadingly, he gasps. I lost myself for a brief moment. I'm truly sorry. Tears well in his eyes as he chokes out the words. I know the pain you've endured gathering those materials. I shouldn't have betrayed you. Staring intensely, the silver-haired man's eyes soften slightly as he releases his grip. Ryongja, coughing and clutching his bruised throat, struggles to rise, tears streaming down his aged face. I'm selfish too, the silver-haired man finally admits softly. My whole life I thought only of myself. That's how I could gather everything I needed. He clenches his teeth briefly before continuing. Had it been anyone else, I'd have killed them instantly, but I understand your pain. With surprising gentleness, he places a reassuring hand on Ryongja's trembling shoulder. Gui Ryongja, thank you for waiting your entire life for me. Ryongja's eyes widen in shock, tears flowing freely down his cheeks. I'm really sorry, he whispers, his voice breaking with remorse. Suddenly, the world around them shifts. Everything freezes, drained of color. The silver-haired man looks around in astonishment. Butterflies hover motionlessly in midair, suspended eerily in black and white stillness. What? Everything stopped, he stammers, bewildered. A deep, resonant voice pierces the silence. You have paused all tests. Whirling around, the silver-haired man searches frantically for the voice's source. Above the swirling portal, an elderly figure materializes, adorned in radiant orange and white robes, glowing with a celestial aura. Who are you? The silver-haired man questions sharply. The one who can truly send you back to the past, the mysterious elder calmly replies. Stunned, the silver-haired man exclaims, sweat dripping down his temples. That's impossible. The elder smiles wisely. Mortals cannot fathom the logic of the heavens. Did you truly think mere materials and human rituals could allow time travel? He asks, his long beard shimmering with ethereal light. The true materials needed aren't physical objects, but the immense sacrifices and relentless effort you dedicated to obtaining them. As the elder gracefully waves his hand, the sacred artifacts hover midair, glowing brilliantly. You have passed the test. You lived with singular determination, sacrificing everything, including your forgiveness of Gui Ryongja, the hardest test of all, yet you succeeded effortlessly. If I've truly passed, the silver-haired man urges, robes billowing in a sudden gust of mystical wind, then fulfill my wish. Send me back. What will you do there? The elder probes, gaze sharp and penetrating. I will kill the one who deserves death and save those who deserve life, the silver-haired man states resolutely, teeth gritted. Is that all? The elder presses, eyes glinting with intensity. What else drives you to regress? I want to live meaningfully, shouts the silver-haired man passionately. Perhaps I've been desperate to return because I regret the way I lived, driven by anger at who I became. What exactly do you regret? The elder challenges fiercely, clutching his chest as his own voice grows harsh. Everything, the silver-haired man cries in agony. Since birth, none of my actions were my own. My life was always controlled by outside forces, relentlessly pushed by events beyond my grasp until, before I knew it, my life was over. The elder listens intently to the heartfelt words of the silver-haired man, his stern expression gradually softening into a gentle, knowing smile. I'm curious about the life you'll lead, the elder muses thoughtfully, his voice resonating softly through the air. The silver-haired man stammers, confusion flickering across his face as the elder's figure begins to shimmer and slowly fade into golden particles of light. I eagerly await the new path you shall take, the elder's voice echoes warmly before disappearing completely. As color floods back into the world, time resumes. The heartfelt apology of Gui Ryungja rings clearly once more. I'm really sorry. The silver-haired man slowly turns toward his lifelong friend, silent yet deeply understanding. I know it's shameless to remind you, Ryungja says earnestly, but please remember your promise. Stop me from getting married. With quiet resolution, the silver-haired man nods slightly, turning towards the shimmering, swirling portal. His robes and silver hair flutter gently in the mystical wind as he calmly says, "Stay well." "Hey, remember what I told you!" Ryongja urgently calls after him, his voice filled with both hope and fear, just as the silver-haired man steps confidently into the portal's dazzling white and golden brilliance. Suddenly, a new scene unfolds. A young man with striking black hair snaps open his eyes, breathing heavily as he stands atop an expansive arena platform. Around him, a roaring crowd erupts into cheers, hundreds of excited spectators waving swords and shouting passionately. Clad in pristine blue robes, the young man grips his sword tightly, gazing upward at an imposing stone statue resembling a deity, its arms solemnly crossed. Emotion fills his voice as he murmurs incredulously, I really came back to the past." This young warrior, the regressed form of the once silver-haired man, now youthful and strong with both arms intact, is momentarily overwhelmed by realization. But his reverie is quickly shattered as an intense, ominous energy suddenly floods his senses, causing him to stagger backward, sweat streaming down his brow. Across the grand arena, atop a sinister throne, sits an imposing figure cloaked in luxurious red, white, and black robes. Flanking him stand 8 formidable warriors, 4 on each side. The intense gaze of this intimidating ruler pierces directly through the young man's heart. Father, he thinks, locking eyes silently with the powerful man above him, an emotional storm brewing within. A thunderous voice suddenly booms from the sidelines, breaking his focus. How long will you keep us waiting, second young master? Whirling around, the young man sees a fierce warrior with blazing orange hair, a barbaric presence gripping a massive sword. The blade crashes down onto the arena floor, fracturing the stone beneath it and scattering debris. Let's start this fight, the warrior roars aggressively, the crowd erupting again into wild cheers. I see, the young master whispers calmly, clarity returning to his gaze. Today is the day of the new demon skirmish. His black hair dances freely in the breeze, illuminated by the sun's radiant glow, determination blazing fiercely in his eyes. Our episode opens with a reflective monologue from our protagonist as we glimpse the majestic figure of his father, the heavenly demon. Clad in striking white and red robes adorned with majestic dragons and crimson clouds, his father's presence is commanding. My father, the heavenly demon, declared he wouldn't limit the selection of the next cult leader solely to his bloodline, the protagonist narrates solemnly. This caused an uproar within the cult, as it meant anyone could claim the title of heavenly demon, provided they were the strongest. We see intense scenes of fierce combat unfold, with men and women skillfully engaging in martial arts battles. Father was serious about his announcement, the protagonist continues, and he launched a fierce contest among the next generation's leaders, calling it the New Demon Skirmish. The winner would earn the right to challenge one of his 2 sons. Whoever triumphed in that battle would have one wish personally granted by the heavenly demon. Returning to the present, we see an aggressive warrior with vibrant orange hair gripping a massive sword, his teeth clenched in defiance. Why don't you give up while you still can, he taunts the protagonist, who remains silently resolute. Our protagonist reflects bitterly on his past life. I remember clearly, I felt insulted that he chose me, assuming he saw me as weaker than my older brother. But now perhaps there was another reason. His eyes narrow in anger, recalling how the barbarian-like man had bribed a kitchen servant to poison his rice, robbing him of his inner energy. We vividly witness this betrayal, the cook secretly mixing a clear liquid into the rice. I lost the match because of his dirty trick, he recalls with regret, envisioning himself collapsed on the ground, wounded and bleeding, his sword just beyond reach. When I informed my father, he said nothing, just gave me a disapproving look as if blaming me for falling victim to such a cheap scheme. We see brief glimpses of the protagonist desperately pushing himself beyond limits, attempting to redeem his honor and position. Despite his relentless effort, the defeat haunted him, causing him to lose ground in the succession war. Everything started from that moment, he whispers gravely. A sudden shout snaps him back to reality. Second young master, are you distracted even when I'm right in front of you? The orange-haired man glares furiously. What did you say your name was again? The protagonist asks nonchalantly. Are you mocking me, Gu Pyung-ho? The barbarian-like warrior roars. Ah, that's right, Gu Pyung-ho, our protagonist calmly acknowledges, pointing at him casually. Internally, our protagonist remembers vividly. He's the fifth disciple of Gu Cheonpa, the Blood Heaven Sword Demon, one of the terrifying 8 demon supremes. A towering silhouette, draped in crimson robes with a billowing scarf, momentarily dominates his thoughts. Daring to disrespect me like this, Gu Pyung-ho growls fiercely, must mean you're confident in your abilities. Our protagonist briefly glances up, locking eyes with his father seated imposingly above, surrounded by the other supreme leaders. Back then I didn't realize, he thinks sharply, but father already knew I had been poisoned. He was watching closely, observing how I'd handle such adversity. Confidence surges within him as he considers, with the knowledge from my past life, I can easily defeat Gu Pyung-ho without using inner energy. However, I must conceal my true strength for now. In a dramatic gesture, he boldly thrusts his fist skyward, declaring loudly, Hear me clearly, heroes of our cult. I will battle Gu Pyung-ho without using any inner energy. Gasps ripple through the crowd, astonishment evident on every face. What? Echoes through the arena. Ignoring their shock, our protagonist boldly chants, Unrivaled swordsman! Unrivaled swordsman! The chant quickly catches fire, and the crowd erupts into passionate cheers, swords raised triumphantly in solidarity. Gu Pyung-ho, visibly shaken and sweating, snarls in response. Fine, if that's how you want it, then I won't use my inner energy either. A sudden hush blankets the crowd. Confused whispers soon break the silence. Neither will use inner energy? How boring, someone scoffs sarcastically. What a waste of time, another mutters dismissively. Hearing these murmurs, Gu Pyung-ho grits his teeth in anger. Damn it, he curses bitterly, gripping his enormous sword tightly. With an explosive force, he yanks the massive blade from the ground, causing stones and debris to scatter dramatically. Second young master, even without inner energy, remember, my sword has no eyes. It will cut down anything it touches. Our protagonist stands quietly, gazing thoughtfully at his younger hand and arm. Internally, he wonders, I feel so foreign in this younger body. Can I truly move it as freely as I wish? His contemplation is abruptly shattered by Gu Pyung-ho's booming voice from across the arena. Unsheath your sword, Gu demands aggressively, gripping his massive weapon tightly with both hands. Our protagonist calmly raises his sword slightly, remarking dismissively, I don't think I need a sword against you. The crowd erupts into mocking laughter, jeering loudly at Gu's humiliation. One spectator yells sarcastically, Hey, he's totally looking down on you. Fury blazing in his eyes, Gu Pyung-ho snarls, You! I won't kill you since you're the cult leader's son, but I'll take your arm. He lunges fiercely, sword raised high, eyes glowing red with violent intent. Unfazed, our protagonist calmly sidesteps the fierce downward strike, narrowly dodging with effortless precision. Good, he thinks with relief. My body's reaction time is quicker than I anticipated. Enraged, Gu pivots quickly, launching another vicious slash, only to strike empty air, hitting a mere afterimage. Our protagonist gracefully leaps upward, somersaulting through the air and landing majestically a short distance away. With a gentle smile, our protagonist places a hand over his rapidly beating heart. My heart is beating so strongly at this age, he murmurs thoughtfully, Damn you! You dare laugh at me? Roars Gu Pyung-ho furiously, lunging forward again with reckless aggression. Our protagonist's eyes narrow through strands of his dark hair. In a sudden burst of speed, he launches himself forward, driving his elbow forcefully into Gu's chest midair. Bam! Gu gasps violently, struggling desperately for air as a second devastating punch smashes into his face. Blood and teeth scatter through the air as Gu's head snaps back, tears streaming from his eyes in agonizing pain. Before Gu can even fall, our protagonist grabs him, cocking his fist back once more. A relentless storm of punches rains mercilessly upon Gu's airborne body, rapid, powerful strikes emanating golden energy as they hit. Blood gushes violently from Gu's mouth as he crashes to the ground on his knees, coughing and sputtering in agony. Ruthlessly, our protagonist grips Gu's arm, the one still clutching the massive sword. Was it this hand? Our protagonist questions coldly, leaping high into the air while firmly grasping Gu's arm. The hand you used to poison me? Tears of fearful realization flood Gu's eyes. Wait! He screams desperately, sweat pouring down his terrified face. With brutal finality, a sickening crack echoes as our protagonist viciously breaks Gu's arm. Bone pierces grotesquely through skin, blood spurting violently as Gu roars in unbearable agony, collapsing face first onto the ground. Absolute shock grips the spectators, gasps and murmurs rippling throughout the horrified crowd. Standing silently above his defeated opponent, sword still firmly in hand, our protagonist's gaze hardens with steely resolve. Now that I have returned to the past, he vows internally, I will no longer let others dictate how I live my life. A commanding hand rises slowly into the air, instantly silencing the murmuring crowd. As I promised, echoes a powerful voice from above, the heavenly demon himself, still seated upon his imposing throne. I shall grant you one wish. Tell me what you desire. Our protagonist pauses thoughtfully, aware of everyone's expectations. Usually, victors would request legendary weapons or secret martial arts scrolls. He senses the anticipation in the air, but today he resolves firmly, I'll follow my instincts. With determined clarity, he states aloud, I wish. The entire arena holds its breath. I wish to go on a hunt with you, Father. Shock ripples visibly through the spectators. Even Gu Pyung-ho, bloodied and defeated, lifts his head in disbelief. Silence hangs thickly until the heavenly demon breaks it, his voice low and inquisitive. You wish to hunt with me? Yes, our protagonist replies confidently, gazing steadily up at his father. I've heard you enjoyed hunting when you were young. I'd like to learn how to hunt from you. Suspicion momentarily flickers across the heavenly demon's stern face before he slowly rises, gripping his throne firmly. His towering figure, adorned in robes embroidered with fierce dragons, exudes immense authority. We depart tomorrow at dawn, he declares solemnly. Turning away in an aura of majesty, he exits, prompting respectful bows from the 8 powerful figures flanking his throne. Our protagonist watches silently, his gaze following his father's departing form. A bitter voice interrupts from behind. What an idiot! I can't believe you wasted your wish on something so pathetic. It's Gu Pyung-ho, now being assisted by 2 other disciples. Casually mocking, our protagonist turns around, feigning ignorance. Oh? What did you say your name was again? Fury blazing in his eyes, Gu Pyung-ho roars, I'll kill you. Execute him now. He struggles violently, but is quickly dragged away by his companions, his shouts fading into the distance. Now that I've returned, our protagonist reflects quietly, the reckless lives you all lead no longer interest me. Sunlight gently illuminates his calm, resolute face. Later that evening, a sprawling mansion sits gracefully beneath a golden sunset. Inside, our protagonist stands contemplatively before a mirror, examining his youthful reflection. I really am young again, nothing like the old me, he muses thoughtfully. An older, more hardened face momentarily stares back at him. His mind drifts to his nemesis. Hwa Mugi. What could he be doing right now? If I can find him and eliminate him before he becomes powerful, this entire catastrophe could be prevented easily. Yet, he acknowledges the challenge. The problem is, he's notoriously elusive. He appeared suddenly in Jeong, as if falling from the sky. After annihilating the Murim Alliance, the Unorthodox Alliance, and even the demon cult, he vanished completely. Finding him won't be easy. A vision of Hwa Mugi walking away into obscurity, his crimson red eyes piercing through the shadows, flutters vividly through our protagonist's mind. Announcing his name openly to locate him would only provoke immense danger, he realizes grimly, folding his arms with deep contemplation. In the end, my primary goal remains unchanged, becoming stronger than Hwa Mugi. His thoughts are interrupted by a gentle yet familiar voice from behind. Young Master. Recognizing it instantly, he turns slowly to face the speaker, a large, robust woman clad impressively in armor. Her presence evokes immediate warmth and nostalgia. Leon, he says softly, warmth filling his eyes. That's correct, young master, she replies earnestly, standing protectively before him. The words, Bodyguard Leon, appear prominently, introducing her clearly. As memories flood back, he lowers his gaze thoughtfully. That's right, Leon was always by my side, he reflects, humbled. At the time, I didn't realize her massive physique was a direct result of the martial arts techniques she mastered. More importantly, I failed to realize that it was all for my sake. Body purification technique, our protagonist narrates thoughtfully. A powerful martial art that temporarily hardens the body to become as tough as rock. It's an exclusive and secretive technique, known only to a select few. We see a vivid memory of a muscular warrior, his body rugged and solid, surrounded by jagged stones that reflect his toughness. Continuing his solemn narration, our protagonist adds, the technique's greatest flaw is that it significantly enlarges the user's body. Painful memories flood his mind, a vision of Leon bravely leaping in front of him, sacrificing herself to block a fatal sword strike from Hwa Mugi. Grief shadows his face as he recalls, she gave her life to protect me. The kind, gentle face of Leon draws closer in the present, noticing the protagonist's pensive gaze. Why are you looking at me like that, young master? She asked softly, confusion and concern in her voice. I never realized before. Her voice was always this pleasant, he thinks privately, his heart swelling with newfound appreciation. She was always ready to sacrifice herself for me, yet back then I considered her merely a simple bodyguard. I took her presence for granted, like the air we breathe. Emotion welling within him, he slowly approaches Leon, causing her to blush slightly and look uncertain. She's even bigger than I remember, he notes warmly to himself, a gentle smile forming on his lips as he gazes at her. Leon, startled yet intrigued by his gentle demeanor, remains silently curious, her eyes filled with unspoken questions. Our chapter opens with our protagonist's reflective monologue. Leon. Everyone once said she'd become the greatest beauty in the world if she continued growing up that way. A gentle memory unfolds. Leon as a beautiful young girl, wearing an elegant white and yellow robe surrounded by blooming roses. But then, he continues somberly, she suddenly grew large. We see an older Leon, now adorable yet distinctly heavier. Leon's gentle voice resonates, filled with sincerity. I'll protect you, young master. Our protagonist feels a pang of regret as memories surface. Back then, I never realized how much she cried because of her changed appearance or how swollen her eyes became from tears. Guilt shadows his features as he quietly acknowledges, she sacrificed her beauty willingly, but how did I repay her? Maybe I grew colder to her over time. We see him dismissing Leon's offered dumplings with cold indifference. Now filled with remorse, he silently promises her, Leon, I swear I'll remove the side effects of the body purification technique for you. Young master, are you all right? Leon's concerned voice breaks his reverie. I'm all right, he replies, shaking off his regretful thoughts. No, actually, I'm good. You're acting rather strange today, she observes cautiously. A faint smirk lifts his lips as he acknowledges her perceptiveness. Just like Leon, he thinks warmly, always noticing every subtle change in me. Turning confidently, he says aloud, gripping his sword firmly, Follow me. I'll show you something even stranger. Where are we going? Leon asks, puzzled. With determination in his voice, he replies cryptically, To flip the dining table. Under the tranquil night sky, the manor stands majestically illuminated. Inside, our protagonist faces several servants with sharp, piercing eyes. "Why did you do it?" he demands sternly. "Pardon? What do you mean, young master?" An old man stammers nervously. "Why did you poison my meal with energy-dispersing poison?" he clarifies coldly, his gaze landing intensely on one trembling young man. The room plunges into stunned silence. Leon gasps quietly beside him, eyes wide in shock. I didn't do it," the accused servant protests frantically, his voice shaking with fear. "Did you gamble away the 3,000 liang you received?" Our protagonist sharply questions, instantly reducing the servant to terrified silence. This boy, our protagonist thinks bitterly, had fallen into debt through gambling. Blinded by desperation, he dared poison my food. "I've made a terrible mistake, young master," the servant pleads, collapsing to the ground. "Please, spare me. I was blinded by greed." "Did Jiyu personally give you the money?" our protagonist interrogates, teeth clenched in fury. "Yes," the servant whispers weakly. Without hesitation, swoosh! Our protagonist's sword slices cleanly, sending the servant's head flying. Blood sprays dramatically, shocking everyone present. The servant's lifeless body slumps to the floor. "Shameful, a cook poisoning meals," he condemns icily, eyes fixed coldly on the corpse. "My deepest apologies, young master. I bear full responsibility," Cook Lim desperately interjects, dropping to his knees. "Why you?" our protagonist questions sharply, turning to Cook Lim. "Isn't the fault entirely his?" "No," Cook Lim insists humbly. "Everything in the kitchen is my responsibility." "Then," our protagonist counters sharply, "does that mean every injustice in the cult is my father's responsibility?" "Pardon?" "No, never," Cook Lim shouts fearfully. "Then stop speaking nonsense," our protagonist declares firmly. "Cook me shredded chicken noodles for dinner." He sheathes his sword decisively, turning to leave. "It's been a while. That's what I want for dinner," he orders calmly, leaving everyone stunned and silent. "Didn't you have that just a few days ago?" Leon asks, quickly following him. He throws her a gentle look, eyes softening nostalgically. Internally, he reflects quietly. That was decades ago for me. The next day at dawn, the Heavenly Demon Pavilion stands serene beneath the pale sky. The Heavenly Demon himself awaits, poised calmly on the bridge outside his pavilion. His powerful gaze shifts as our protagonist arrives, heavily laden with bows, arrows, and various bags. "What's with all those distracting belongings?" the Heavenly Demon questions sternly. "Essentials for the next few days," our protagonist replies earnestly. "Days?" his father repeats, raising an eyebrow skeptically. "I planned only for today's hunt." "Who knows?" our protagonist counters gently. "You might enjoy hunting enough to stay longer." "An ambitious dream," the Heavenly Demon remarks dryly, brushing past his son carrying the enormous pack. The scene transitions to a lush forest, filled with towering trees and a gentle mist that blankets the distant mountaintops. Father and son walk silently together, the Heavenly Demon leading confidently. "You're better than I thought," his father comments suddenly, catching our protagonist off guard. Did he notice that I was hiding skills from my past life during the fight with Goop Young-ho? Our protagonist wonders anxiously, deciding quickly, it's best to be honest. "Father, I was concealing my abilities," he admits openly. "I notice," the Heavenly Demon calmly replies without turning. "I'm not a cat that hisses, I'm a beast that hides its claws," our protagonist states confidently. The Heavenly Demon pauses, turning back with a thoughtful gaze. "Why would a beast hide its claws?" "Ah," our protagonist realizes sheepishly. "I hadn't thought about it that way." "That's why you're a cat," his father remarks pointedly. Continuing through the lush underbrush, the Heavenly Demon queries, "How much of the soaring sword arts have you mastered?" Recalling the secret technique, our protagonist visualizes himself gracefully performing the soaring sword arts, vibrant blue energy trailing elegantly through the air. It's a secret martial art passed down only to the Heavenly Demon's bloodline, he reflects internally. Then, confidently, he states aloud, "I have completely mastered it." Suddenly, with breathtaking speed, A beam of energy streaks past him, narrowly grazing his cheek and slicing through his backpack. Our protagonist freezes, eyes wide with shock and sweat dripping from his brow. If I hadn't instinctively turned my head, my cheek would be gone. You've truly mastered it, the heavenly demon challenges, standing calmly on a fallen log ahead. You tested me even though you weren't certain, our protagonist retorts indignantly, touching his slightly grazed cheek. What if I hadn't dodged? Then you would have paid the price for lying, his father replies coolly. If you truly mastered it, dodging would have been effortless. Even so, our protagonist complains softly, my face resembles yours. It wouldn't look good with scars. The heavenly demon studies him silently. Internally, he reflects with hidden pride, completely mastering the technique at his age. Impressive indeed. Without further comment, he clasps his hands behind his back and continues walking. Our protagonist, warmed by this silent approval, follows gratefully, quietly thinking, thank you, Father. The duo journeys deeper into the vibrant forest. Pausing briefly, the heavenly demon kneels to inspect tracks on the ground. Who taught you how to hunt, Father? Our protagonist inquires softly. My older brother, comes the quiet reply. Surprised, our protagonist blurts out, I had an uncle? He died, his father states plainly, adding grimly, I killed him when I was your age. Shock briefly clouds our protagonist's face, but after a tense silence, he firmly replies, You did well. The heavenly demon's eyes narrow sharply, darkening with emotion. Otherwise, our protagonist continues sincerely, I wouldn't have been born. Both men stand quietly, locked in a profound gaze. Our protagonist silently acknowledges, even Father must carry deep wounds from battling his own kin. In my past life, I saw clearly, the stronger someone seems, the deeper their pain. Turning away, the heavenly demon quietly admits, back then I saw no other solution. I understand, our protagonist softly reassures. Internally, he thinks decisively, I won't pretend to surpass him. I cannot do what even he could not. He looks toward his father, speaking candidly. And you already know there's no need for me to even consider that, especially since my brother is cruel and vicious. A dark silhouette with a menacing grin briefly appears in his thoughts. Silence hangs thickly before the heavenly demon quietly comments, Speaking ill of him behind his back, are you? A majestic scene unfolds as towering mountains adorned with lush trees stretch towards the heavens. High above, our protagonist and his father gracefully ascend, leaping effortlessly between rocky outcrops toward the summit. Observing his father's powerful figure ahead, our protagonist reflects deeply. In my past life, I never married and never had children. That's why I wonder, what kind of existence was I to my father? Catching up at the mountain's peak, the two men stand side by side in quiet contemplation, gazing into the vast, dense forest spread beneath them. Breaking the silence, our protagonist asks curiously, Is there something there? Our dinner, replies the heavenly demon calmly. Then we need to kill it, our protagonist responds eagerly. How do you plan on killing something you can't even see? His father challenges gently, placing his belongings down and carefully drawing his bow. First, close your eyes and sense your surroundings, instructs the heavenly demon. Obediently, our protagonist shuts his eyes, focusing intensely as faint blue energy begins radiating softly from his body. Internally, he reflects, martial masters detect opponents through vibrations in the surrounding air, the energy flow of beings. Right now, I only sense one powerful flow, Father's. A fierce crimson energy pulses vividly around his father's figure, reminiscent of a demonic force. Now send your energy out in a single, controlled line, his father instructs. Obeying, our protagonist visualizes himself as a tightly wound ball of yarn, slowly releasing a slender thread of energy. Gradually, his energy line reaches out, touching and sensing something ahead. I feel it, he announces excitedly. What do you sense? His father queries calmly. A tree, he replies uncertainly. Keep searching, urges the heavenly demon patiently. Sweat beads on our protagonist's brow as he carefully expands his sensing energy. Suddenly his senses sharpen, clearly revealing a robust, hairy form. Eyes snapping open wide in surprise, he exclaims, "A wild boar, or perhaps a bear?" "It's a wild boar," his father confirms with a nod. Grinning in triumph, our protagonist clenches his fist proudly, then notices his father's knowing gaze. The heavenly demon remarks gently, "Initially, even I couldn't sense accurately at such a distance." "Well," our protagonist boasts playfully, "I'm gifted with a body that masters martial arts quickly. This level is nothing for me." His father responds with a faint, approving smile. That evening, flames crackle warmly under a starlit sky as father and son sit beside their roaring campfire. A succulent boar cooks enticingly nearby. The heavenly demon observes quietly, "When did you learn to prepare hunted game so skillfully?" "I learned from a book," our protagonist replies modestly. "You seem exceptionally skilled for a first attempt," his father remarks thoughtfully. "Glad it appears that way," he responds humbly, secretly thinking, "In my past life, I hunted countless animals to survive." Noticing his father comfortably seated on a luxurious tiger-skin rug, he comments warmly, "Carrying all that heavy baggage was worth it to earn your favor." The heavenly demon's gaze sharpens curiously. "Did you choose to hunt with me to impress me or to become my successor?" Rising confidently, our protagonist dusts off his robes. "Neither. I know impressing you won't sway your decision. I'll become successor on my own merit," he declares boldly. "Quite confident, aren't you?" his father remarks, intrigued. "I have two reasons," he continues seriously. "First, I wanted to learn from you and grow stronger. I've already achieved this first goal today." His father regards him quietly, the flickering fire casting deep shadows on his stern face. "And after you become stronger?" "Don't misunderstand," our protagonist clarifies sincerely. "I don't desire your throne. You're strong and healthy. I won't waste my youth chasing your title. It's enough to become your successor and learn the heavenly demon's martial arts." As silence settles comfortably between them, our protagonist gazes thoughtfully at the starry sky, quietly reflecting, "I must master the 9 calamity demonic arts swiftly and surpass them." Even father, who mastered those arts, ultimately fell to Hua Mugi. The heavenly demon's deep voice interrupts gently, "Your second reason?" Smiling warmly, our protagonist admits softly, "I wanted to spend time alone with you. We've never done this before." The heavenly demon pauses, a small, rare smile forming on his lips as he gently advises, "Such sentiments are useless. They'll only get you killed." "Why is it useless?" our protagonist asks softly, breaking the silence. He gazes into the fire and adds, "I get to spend time with the strongest person in the world. If you sing a song, that becomes the world's greatest song. If you drink liquor, it becomes the world's greatest liquor." The heavenly demon simply stares at his son, then turns his gaze toward the dancing flames. The silence between them stretches, heavy but meaningful. "In my past life," our protagonist reflects internally, "I couldn't recall a single warm memory of father. Memories of fear don't count as memories." A vision of the heavenly demon, towering with crimson red eyes glowing ominously, flashes through his mind. "This time, I want something different." His gaze lingers on his father. "But don't misunderstand, father. I'm not doing this for you. It's for me." Dawn paints the horizon in golden hues. "It's dawn," the heavenly demon announces. "Let's go back now." "We're not going anywhere," he continues firmly. "You came out to hunt with the heavenly demon, so before we leave, we need to kill at least a tiger." Tossing his head back, he shouts, "What are you doing?" "Don't stand there like a dunce. Follow me." "Yes, father," our protagonist responds, hurrying after him with his heavy gear in tow. The scenery shifts to a stunning bamboo forest, the tall stalks swaying gently. "Close your eyes again," the heavenly demon instructs. "Okay," the son replies, obeying immediately. "The target is to the right, 100 yards away. It's farther than last time. Feel the wind this time. Infuse your energy into it." As our protagonist closes his eyes, blue energy begins to swirl gently around him. Internally, he muses, In all my training, I've never been taught to infuse energy into the wind. There was no one to teach me, and no martial art I've ever heard of teaches this. Discharge your energy, his father says firmly. The blue energy flows outward, soft but growing stronger. If you're too slow and delicate, his father adds, you'll only create a pretty trick. If you want to use it in battle, your energy must reach your target quickly. As the wind and energy begin to intertwine, our protagonist's focus sharpens. I can feel it, the wind and my energy, he thinks, but how do I combine them? Suddenly, understanding dawns. To infuse it into the wind doesn't mean to ride it, it means to entangle it. The swirling energy threads through the bamboo forest, weaving sharply between stalks until it finds its mark, a glowing figure. The energy encircles the shape. It's a tiger. Eyes snapping open, our protagonist stammers, there really is a tiger. What's wrong? His father asks calmly. Don't get lazy with your training. The more energy lines you can manage, the better your odds of survival. Understood, father. I'll bear that in mind, our protagonist replies, catching his breath. Later, by another blazing fire, the heavenly demon lifts a wine bottle. This is my strongest trump card, he says. They sit across from one another. Taking a sip, the heavenly demon remarks, this is good. Still a bit strong for me, the son replies, taking a sip himself. That's a lie, he admits internally. His father smirks knowingly. No demonic human complains about liquor being too strong, the heavenly demon retorts. A vicious heart is more important than strong liquor. He leans forward slightly. Could you kill me? If it meant you could live. The fire crackles between them. No, our protagonist says aloud. How could a child kill their parent? But inside, the truth stirs. That's a lie too. If I had a good enough reason, I would do it. Even if it's my own father. He lowers his head. This is the best conversation I've ever had with him. How could I possibly value my own life more than his? Could you kill me? The heavenly demon repeats. If you're hesitant, he warns, then don't talk about having a vicious heart. Taking another sip of wine, the heavenly demon falls silent. Then, our protagonist replies softly, staring at the fire, I'll learn to drink strong liquor too. Flames dance between them as father and son sit quietly, the embers glowing in the night. A starry night sky blankets the land as a quiet house rests beneath its gaze. Inside, our protagonist sits cross-legged on the floor, deep in meditation. Energy hums softly in the air as he exhales slowly and opens his eyes. After focusing on training these past few days since my regression, he thinks, I can now freely infuse my energy into the wind. I can maintain 3 to 4 lines at once. Blue streaks of energy coil around him, dancing with the air itself. I never expected Father to teach me how to discharge energy to survey my surroundings. It's like gaining an extra life. I'll be able to detect any enemy before they even strike. He rises from the floor, clenching his fist. If I continue like this, if I can release more than 10 energy lines, I might be able to nullify any stealth technique an enemy uses. Suddenly, his expression turns dark. But even Father, who's far more skilled than I am, lost to Hua Mugi because the heavenly demon pavilion was infiltrated. A flashback begins. The majestic heavenly demon pavilion glows in the mountains, surrounded by towering trees. Its defenses are formidable. 3 barrier formations, 6 trap formations, and a force of hand-picked elites. 8 mighty demon supremes, each guarding a direction. North, the demonic swordsmen of the Northern Heaven Sword family, led by the 1/Sword Supreme. South, the demonic bladesmen of the Southern Heavens Blade family, led by the Blood Heavens Bladesmen. East, the Iron Fists of the East Fist faction, led by the undefeated First Demon. West, the demonic sorcerers of the Western Illusion formation, led by the Soul-Stealing Demon. Northeast, the Faceless Swordsmen, aspiring to become the Evil Smiling Demon. Southeast, the perpetually drunken swordsman, led by the demonic drunkard. Southwest, the Poison Fans, masters of toxins, alongside the Poison King. Northwest, the the crazy monks, devoted to the delusions of the demonic Buddha. We see eerie silhouettes of each supreme, powerful and menacing. Back then, our protagonist reflects, I believed the enemy broke in from the outside, but I was wrong. The outer defenses were never breached. His eyes narrow. Someone from within, one of the 8 demon supremes, allowed Hua Mugi to enter the pavilion. Perhaps more than one traitor. The betrayer was never found, but it doesn't matter, because now I treat all 8 demon supremes as traitors. We see a haunting image of the heavenly demon on his throne, 3 swords piercing his body, blood staining the steps as the supremes walk away. After Father died, none of them sought vengeance. Instead, they decided to shut down the demonic cult. That's still a future event, but I know their pasts. I know how they lived and how they died. His jaw tightens. This time, I'll use the 8 demon supremes to their fullest. He turns toward the door, but suddenly, Hey, fatty, is the second young master still in the training ground? A voice shouts from outside. Eyes widening, our protagonist flinches at the voice. Outside, 3 men stand. The one in front, white robe, massive sword strapped to his back, has a smug look plastered across his scarred face. How many days has it been already? I can't wait anymore. Go drag him out, he orders. Leon stands guard, fists clenched, shielding the entrance. What did you just say? She snaps back. Just then, our protagonist emerges. Leon, what are you doing out here? She turns quickly, relieved. Young master? The 3 men grow quiet at the sight of him. He looks at Leon. I told you to do your own thing while I was training. Did you wait here for me the whole time? Flustered, she twirls her fingers. ... The man in white steps forward smugly. You're finally out, second young master. Why the sudden training binge, and for days no less? A disciple of the Blood Heaven's bladesman, our protagonist recalls, Yang Po. He narrows his eyes. He only acts this way because of my father. A memory floods back. After father declared that anyone in the cult could become the successor, simply being the heavenly demon's son lost its meaning. That decree only ignited everyone's ambition, the ambition to defeat his sons and gain fame. Yang Po grins smugly, scars stretched across his face. The tension in the air crackles like lightning. What do you want? Our protagonist asks coolly, turning to face the bald, white-clad man. Don't play dumb, the man snaps. Pyung-ho can't practice martial arts anymore, because of you. The 3 men stare at him and Leon with intense glares, but our protagonist simply shrugs, voice sharp. So what? You want me to go look after him or something? Under the silver moonlight of the courtyard, tension crackles like a drawn blade. You think I'm joking with you? Barks the bald man. I don't think our relationship's ever been one for serious conversations, our protagonist replies dryly. Take responsibility. Go apologize to him officially, the bald man demands. Our protagonist narrows his eyes, calmly analyzing. I see what's happening. The Blood Heaven's bladesman isn't around. His disciples want to show off, make themselves look useful by forcing me to apologize. Yang Po wants credit. He wants to avoid making his master look bad. He smirks. But doing this won't make you the best disciple. I don't think your master will pick you just because of this pathetic act, he says out loud. That's nonsense. I'm only here for Pyung-ho's sake, the bald man protests. Enough, our protagonist cuts him off, his voice turning icy. You're the one who should apologize. For what? The bald bladesman snarls. For speaking rudely to my subordinate. Apologize to her. Leon's face immediately flushes. Her eyes widen in shock. What? It's fine, young master, she mutters, trying to diffuse the tension. I'm not fine with it, our protagonist replies firmly, stepping forward. Leon blushes again, speechless. Yang Po, you insulted my subordinate. Kneel down and apologize. Yang Po blinks, stunned. Did you just tell me to kneel to that fatty? Our protagonist's jaw tightens. His voice sharpens. There you go, running your mouth again. Yang Po erupts. You crazy bastard. I'd rather die than kneel to her. His 2 companions exchange nervous glances. Our protagonist's smile returns. Calm, cold, final. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. He draws his sword with a smooth motion, its blade glowing brilliant blue, radiant energy cascading off it like a waterfall of fireflies. Leon gasps in astonishment. You've really lost your mind, Yang Po shouts, his voice trembling with fury. Kneel and apologize, or fight me. Your choice, our protagonist says, sword aimed directly at the trio. Sweat forms at Yang Po's brow. Just so you know, our protagonist adds, if you back down now, your master will not be pleased. Silence. Only the wind stirs in the courtyard nestled beneath the stars. I don't care if you're here for me. I'd even understand revenge, but I won't let you insult my subordinates. Leon's face reddens as she lowers her gaze, touched. Yang Po suddenly bursts into laughter. Ha, 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 ha. You're trying to kill me over a damn pig? That's how much she means to me, our protagonist responds with a soft grin. Yang Po's smile vanishes. Rage overtakes him. He rips his broadsword from its mount. Don't do it, young Po, one of his companions pleads. Young master, Leon shouts, but our protagonist raises his hand, signaling her to step back. From above, the moon casts silver light on two warriors facing off, swords drawn. Since you're the son of the heavenly demon, Yang Po growls, I'll take your arm instead of your life. Wind swirls, time slows. An orange slash bursts from Yang Po's sword. Swoosh! Our protagonist ducks low, dodging the attack. Then, bam! His sword lunges upward like a bolt of blue lightning, piercing straight through Yang Po's head. Blood explodes in all directions. His sword emerges cleanly out the other side. His eyes narrow, voice calm. Your mouth brought your death. He gazes coldly at the twitching body. You used that mouth to insult my subordinate and refused to apologize. Leon stands frozen, clutching her chest in disbelief. Our protagonist rips his blade free. Swipe! A geyser of blood arcs through the air. Yang Po's body, still upright, trembles. His eyes roll back, turning lifeless and black. Then, like a puppet cut from strings, he crumples. Thud! The two remaining men stare in horror. Blood pools at their feet. Our protagonist stands calm and unmoved, his glowing sword glinting in the moonlight as Yang Po lies face first in the dirt, dead. We begin where we left off, our protagonist pulling his sword from Yang Po's mouth, blood bursting into the air. Yang Po's body slumps to the ground with a heavy bam. Our protagonist gazes coldly at the corpse, hatred simmering in his eyes. His two comrades scream, rushing over. Yang Po! One of them spins on our protagonist. Do you think you can handle the consequences of your actions? His voice steady, eyes sharp, our protagonist replies, Your mouth sounds just like his. He steps forward, gaze intense. Repeat my words exactly. Pause on my phrasing. If you dare change even one syllable, I'll find you at dusk. The two men freeze, stunned into silence. The lights from the manor spill into the courtyard, casting a solemn glow on our protagonist as the two men haul Yang Po's body away. Why did you do that? A soft voice comes from behind. He turns. What? Leon stands there, uncertain. Why did you do that for someone like me? His heart stirs. She's still worried about me. Even after everything, he steps closer. This wasn't because of you. I killed a man who deserved it. Leon frowns. The Blood Heaven's bladesmen won't let this slide. Of course she's afraid, he thinks. The 8 martial masters of the demonic cult wield massive influence. Even Father, the heavenly demon, must weigh their power carefully. He recalls the Blood Heaven's bladesman, a fearsome figure, cloaked in red, gripping a colossal sword pulsing with crimson energy. I crippled one disciple. I killed another. He answers her plainly. He won't do anything. He has nothing to gain. But his pride? Then he'd be mocked for raising such useless disciples. He doesn't have that kind of pride. He places a gentle hand on her shoulder. You don't need to worry about me. She blushes deeply as he steps past her. On the contrary, he thinks. I gained something from killing Yang Po. His eyes narrow. I defeated Gu Pyung-ho. Now I've killed Yang Po. Every member of the cult has their eyes on me now. If this were a points-based succession war, I've just claimed my first point. The night is quiet. Stars shimmer above the manor. "Young master," Leon calls out from behind. He pauses. "Thank you for what you did today. I mean it. From the bottom of my heart," she says, beaming with a radiant, innocent smile. He turns, lips curling into a rare smile. "You'd better be thankful. Don't forget this. For the rest of your life." "Okay," she shouts, still grinning. He walks away thinking, "Yes, Leon, keep smiling. I want you to live your life that way." Later that evening, beneath the pale moonlight, our protagonist sits alone on a stone bench in front of his manor, wearing simple night clothes. His eyes gaze toward the heavens. Back then, after the demonic cult disbanded, I was drowning in defeat. The weight of failure was so heavy I would have given up, if not for the goal I clung to. His head lowers. If I hadn't discovered the Great Regression Technique, what would have happened to me? Just then, his instincts flare. He senses something, a dark red aura. Turning slightly, he freezes. His reflection shines in the gleam of a sword hovering at his neck. He stares, sweat rolling down his brow. A blade? Behind him, crouched low and poised to strike, is the Blood Heaven's bladesman, eyes glowing crimson. He's already here. I didn't expect him to arrive so quickly, our protagonist thinks, swallowing hard. Can I dodge it? No, not in my current state. My inner energy's too weak. Then the blade lowers. The Blood Heaven's bladesman sits beside him. The sword rests calmly across his lap. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then, "Why did you do it?" the bladesman asks with cool indifference. Still sweating, our protagonist responds, "He acted like a fool." The bladesman closes his eyes, smirking. "So you picked a fight? With the heavenly demon's youngest son who doesn't give a damn about fools?" Silence. Then suddenly, swish. The bladesman kicks his sword into the air and catches it, blade once again leveled at our protagonist's neck. "Shall I cut off your head and show it to the heavenly demon? Shall we see if he cares?" Our protagonist steadies his breath. "I don't think your sword could cut through me. Not if you think about my father's terrifying eyes." The bladesman studies him, then closes his eyes. Swoosh, swoosh. He slashes his blade twice into the ground, leaving two deep intersecting gashes. Dust swirls. Our protagonist looks down at the cross carved into the earth. "What is this?" the bladesman mutters. "If this mark shows how much the heavenly demon cares, this small part belongs to you. I take the majority." He rises slowly. The cross etched in the dirt glows under the moonlight. The two men lock eyes in tense silence. Slowly, our protagonist lowers his gaze to the X-shaped mark carved into the ground by the great sword. He drags his finger along the shorter side, his side. "I'm his son after all. I probably matter at least this much," he mutters. He shifts his finger farther down the longer side. "I'm 7. You're 3, he says with a smirk, glancing up at the Blood Heaven's bladesman. The old man chuckles. "We'll know once we test it. Think he'll kill me or let me walk if I return with just your head in my arms?" The blade rests heavy in his grip, energy swirling at his feet. "You underestimate the love of a father," our protagonist replies. Crimson energy begins to radiate off the bladesman. His eyes glow with bloodlust. He lifts his sword and steps forward. "Then let's test that out." Hair rising, breath caught, our protagonist remains on one knee, frozen. A wave of pressure surges behind him. He turns his head slowly. Crimson aura pulses past him like a tidal wave. "There's no need to test it," he says calmly, voice steady despite the fear in his eyes. "He has 2 sons, and there's only one of you." The bladesman pauses. Then he laughs. "Not as foolish as my disciple." The pressure fades. He rests his massive blade on his shoulder. Our protagonist rises, brushing dirt from his sleeping robes. "If your disciples were anything like you, he'd still be alive." "Second young master," the bladesman mutters, turning his back. "I've lived a life of misfortune. I hope we don't meet often." Our protagonist nods, sweat beads on his brow. "I'll remember that." In the blink of an eye, swoosh, The bladesman is gone. Our protagonist looks up. The moon hangs high. Wind whispers across the courtyard. He watches the fading silhouette of the bladesman vanish across the rooftops. Still standing near the stone bench, our protagonist lifts his robe and winces. 2 bruised dark marks sting on his side. These were from earlier. When he asked me why I did it, he realizes. His fists clench. That cursed old man. He looks into the distance, the silver moonlight bathing him in a quiet glow. The Blood Heaven's bladesman might look like a wild beast, but he's a calculating monster. Every action, every word is measured. He presses a palm to the bruises. The fact that he repeated twice that he'd carry only my head, he really considered it. He wasn't bluffing. He remembers the grin. He came to see me. My fight with his disciple left an impression, and then I made that strange wish to hunt with Father. Leaves dance in the wind, swirling above the manor. He needed to test me, especially since I killed his disciple. Our protagonist stares into the void, eyes sharp as blades. He came here to see if I'm fit to become the successor. His jaw clenches. Is my first true opponent the Blood Heaven's bladesman? The screen fades to black. We pick back up in our protagonist's room. He sits cross-legged, cultivating a deep blue aura pulsing from his body. As the camera slowly pulls back, we see the immense energy filling the space, serene yet powerful. A thin stream of aura detaches and stretches into a line, glowing softly. Before he can finish, his instincts jolt him. His eyes snap open, sensing a presence. He looks up to the roof and then, in a blink, leaps atop it. There, under the silver moonlight, stands his father, the heavenly demon wrapped in his majestic white and crimson robes. Father, he calls out, uncertain. The heavenly demon doesn't move. He casts only a side glance. I heard you killed the disciple of the Blood Heaven Sword Demon. The manga has changed its title from Bladesman to Sword Demon. We cut to a wide shot of the manor. Father and son face each other on opposite rooftops, the night sky stretching endlessly above them. The wind touzles our protagonist's hair as he answers. Yes, his disciple was deserving of death. The heavenly demon turns slightly, voice cold. Whether he deserved to die or not doesn't matter. The Blood Heaven Sword Demon has come to see me about it. What? He wants you to receive punishment. Our protagonist is stunned. He asked you to punish me? Indeed, it was unexpected. He's not one to care over the death of a mere disciple. Silence. The gears in our protagonist's mind turn. He's testing us. He wants to see if Father would punish me. And how. He wants to know if Father considers me a real successor candidate. Then his father says it. So I intend to punish you. What? There's no justification for that. Justification can be made. The heavenly demon pauses. You asked me during our hunt which demon supreme I trust the most. Yes, he remembers it vividly. The flickering firelight, the scent of roasting boar, and that unanswered question. Back then, Father said nothing. Now he answers. I don't trust anyone, not even the demon supremes. Shock flashes across our protagonist's face. You said hierarchy and discipline must be upheld in the cult, Father continues. Don't give me empty words about purging corruption. I want your true thoughts. Our protagonist lowers his gaze. The wind rustles his robes. I feel like somewhere along the way we've lost the part of the demon. Father stiffens. The part of the demon? Yes. What does that mean to you? It means our belief that only we, the cult, have the power to defeat absolute evil. The heavenly demon's expression tightens. The orthodox factions aren't our enemy, our protagonist continues. Absolute evil is the kind of evil that even demons would turn from in disgust. He sees a towering shadow loom over terrified silhouettes, crimson eyes glaring. Justice and chivalry may be able to deal with lesser evils, but not that. Because the orthodox sects forgive, they value people, and that makes them incapable of confronting true evil. He lifts his eyes, fiery with purpose. But we can. We are the only ones in Murim who can fight evil by becoming more wicked than evil itself. His aura surges. When the great evil that even the orthodox sects can't handle finally kneels before us, that is when we will have truly achieved the part of the demon. The heavenly demon remains silent, the moonlight casting long shadows across his face. If we can't become that, our protagonist continues, we'll fall. We must punish ourselves so we can survive. The two stare at each other across the rooftops, the cold wind cutting between them. He thinks to himself, Father has never heard anything like this, and I know it because I never knew it either, not until I lived a lifetime wandering the Central Plains. Any more arrogant thoughts? His father suddenly calls. Startled, our protagonist straightens. No, that should suffice. I think I know now why the Blood Heaven Sword Demon wants me to punish you, the heavenly demon said calmly, gazing across the rooftop at his son. Our protagonist stood still, the weight of his father's words pressing down on him. Look, the heavenly demon continued, he sees something in you, and he wants to use me to test you. Lowering his head, the son responded, I guess he saw a possibility of me becoming a successor candidate. Or, his father replied, maybe he sees you as someone who's bound to ruin our cult. He smirked faintly. Whichever it is, that old man sure has a good eye for spotting the extraordinary. The wind rustled between them, silence stretching for a moment before the heavenly demon suddenly turned. Follow me, he commanded. Where are we going this late? The son called, surprised as his father leapt from the roof. In another location, a massive stone tablet stood upright before a towering mountain etched with ancient runes, Minor Heaven Cave. The father and son stood before a sealed steel door embedded at the mountain's base, shadowed by trees that reached for the skies. The Minor Heaven Cave, the son thought, eyes locked on the tablet. This was the trial ground, a place meant for those worthy of inheriting the title of Heavenly Demon. Children of the Heavenly Demon or chosen disciples would enter. Those who couldn't pass would be trapped forever within. Going in is easy, but failing the trial means never returning, he thought. His heart pounded. The success rate was razor thin. Only half of the blood-related candidates ever emerged. Even my overly ambitious brother never dared to mention entering this place, he thought, recalling the silhouette of the brother he had yet to confront. But to become the heavenly demon, this place was unavoidable. He clenched his fists. Are you asking me to go into this place? He asked his father, staring at the steel doors. I also went in around your age, his father replied. How long did it take you to come out? 2 months. Shock swept across the son's face. A bead of sweat trickled down his temple. Father is known as the most talented martial artist among all the heavenly demons in history, and even he needed 2 months. His father continued, I was the only one who made it out in 2 months. The rest took an average of 3 years. He stepped closer to the cave's doors, his presence as intimidating as ever. And you want me to go into such a place without any preparation at all? The son asked. Didn't I tell you I intend to punish you? The heavenly demon replied without hesitation. The son's thoughts churned. Father, are you really sending me into a place where I might die just to appease the Blood Heaven Sword Demon? Do you truly not care if your own son dies? Or are you hoping I'll survive and become stronger? He looked up at his father's unwavering gaze, and a small grin curled at the corner of his lips. All right, he said, determination blazing in his eyes. Since it's come to this, I'll try to come out even earlier than you did. His father smirked. Just try to keep yourself alive. And with that, the trial of the Minor Heaven Cave began. We slowly see our protagonist now inside the Minor Heaven Cave, walking cautiously on the concrete floor. A massive hallway stretches out ahead, illuminated by glowing turquoise lamps on either side. As he glances around, his thoughts echo in the silence. Just how terrible is this place for so many people to get stuck in here, he wonders. At the end of the corridor, he sees a doorway leading into another shadowy chamber. As he steps into the next room, the eerie glow of ancient lamps reveals its size. His eyes land on one of the nearby stone pillars, etched with instructions. Cut down all your enemies without using sword aura or enhanced sword aura. If you cannot succeed within the time limit, you shall be given another chance 10 days later. Those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. Reading silently, he frowns. 10 days later? I'm supposed to eat those grain balls while I stay here? he grumbles, glancing at 2 large jars filled to the brim with grain balls. No need to waste any more time, he mutters. Stepping confidently into the crimson circle, he braces himself. Suddenly, the floor rumbles and mechanical groans echo through the room. Dozens of training dummies begin to emerge from hidden panels in the ground, each marked with a red target. Looks like I'm supposed to slash where the red marks are, he deduces. Without hesitation, he lunges forward. His movements are swift and precise, slicing through the dummies like a dance of steel. Slash, slash, slash. Each strike lands exactly on the target. He moves with intensity, weaving and darting among the enemies. The dummies are tougher than expected. They're tougher than I thought, he mutters, panting as he lands on the far side of the room. Turning, he realizes more dummies are emerging, and worse, some are retreating back into the floor. He rushes back, slicing 2, 3, 4, but sees 3 slipping down. With a burst of energy, he lunges, sliding across the stone and catching them in the nick of time. The last one, he shouts, spotting a lone dummy nearly hidden in the shadows. With one explosive push off the ground, his sword flashes, swoosh, clean through the final target. He lands in a cloud of dust, chest heaving. Whew, he exhales, wiping sweat from his brow. I almost had to spend another 10 days here because I let my guard down for a second. Surveying the broken dummies strewn across the floor, he reflects. It would have been impossible for me to get through this trial with my skills before I regressed. A low rumble interrupts his thoughts. Another stone door grinds open ahead. He steps forward, entering a new corridor, and pauses as he spots another tablet covered in inscriptions. I succeeded in 9 tries. I did it in 16 tries. I ended up taking 37 trials. Will I die in this place? I really can't get past here. Damn it, I tried to go back, but there's no way out. I succeeded in just 6 tries. I consider myself to be the strongest. His eyes drift to the final scribble at the bottom. Idiots. He chuckles. Although he's not wrong, I can't believe he berated our ancestors. Beyond the corridor lies another room, vast and lined wall to wall, floor to ceiling, with swords, spears, and other weapons, each displayed like relics. The turquoise glow bathes everything in an ethereal light. Ahead of him lies another crimson circle. He studies the chamber before his eyes fall on a new set of instructions engraved on a nearby pillar. Use the swords that are hung on the wall to split the stone in half within 2 hours. You may use sword aura or enhanced sword aura. If you cannot succeed within the time limit, you shall be given another chance 20 days later. Those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. Without hesitation, he walks straight to the circle and steps inside. The ground rumbles once again. A massive stone pillar begins to rise before him. 2 hours for this. That's too much time to just cut a single boulder in half, he muses. If I use enhanced sword aura, I could cut hundreds of these in 2 hours. But as he stares at the towering stone, something feels off. There must be a reason for the instruction, he says aloud, crossing his arms and resting a finger on his chin. The trial, he realizes, is more than it seems. Our protagonist clutches a sword from the wall and brings it down with a heavy swoosh. Bam! The blade crashes against the stone sphere, shattering in half, the broken piece spinning across the room. I guess just slashing it won't work, he mutters. He steps back and grabs a second blade. In that case, I'll use enhanced sword aura to cut this in half, and quickly move on to the next trial. A blue glow starts to encase the blade. His eyes shimmer with that same deep blue hue. He stands poised, staring down the stone sphere, but he pauses. It'd be too easy to pause like this, he says, lowering the blade slightly. He turns his head, eyes drifting toward a worn stone pillar at the back of the room. I split it in half in one try using enhanced sword aura. I tried 89 times to cut it without aura. Failed every time. I cut it without aura. Just how did he do that? Liar. No one can do that. If there's heat, you lose. If there's heat, you lose, he repeats, narrowing his eyes. The last line. It's signed with a single mark. His father's. That makes him pause. That's unlike father. He usually just mocks others outright, but here, he thinks back, you may use sword aura or enhanced sword aura, not must. So the true path must lie in not using them at all. The realization sharpens in his mind. And that line, If there's heat, you lose. Father was warning me. He walks back to the stone, picks up another sword, and strikes. Clang, the blade snaps. He grabs an axe. Thud, no damage. A hammer. Boom, nothing. Panting now, sweat running down his face, he stares at the orb in frustration. I can't even leave a scratch. How do I split this thing without enhanced sword aura? The clock in his mind ticks. Time's almost up. He clenches his jaw. Should I just use aura and be done with it? But his thoughts go back to his father, to that silent stare, that unshakable confidence. And in that moment, it clicks. His eyes widen. Could it be? He centers his stance, breathes in. Energy pulses from his core and snakes outward. A fine, delicate thread of inner energy. It slithers toward the stone sphere, wrapping around it, coiling tighter like a spider sensing the world through its web. And then, there, a faint groove, a tiny seam circling the orb invisible to the naked eye. I can feel it, a perfect circular weak point, hidden in plain sight. Eyes closed, he raises the blade one last time. This isn't an illusion! Swoosh. A single clean cut. Silence. The orb cleaves in half. A clean, flawless cut through stone. He stands on the other side, sword lowered, chest rising and falling. Joy washes over his face. I did it. But something glows from within the halved stone. He walks closer, eyes narrowing. A purple shimmer. He leans in. That's a demonic essence pill. A look of awe flashes across his face. So that's why the true trial was to do it without aura. The reward was hidden inside the method itself. We open on our protagonist standing in a quiet chamber, the demonic essence pill glowing in his hand. If a demonic human who's learned demonic martial arts consumes this, he stares at the swirling purple light within the pill. They gain an incredible surge of energy. He smiles faintly. If I used enhanced sword aura to split that stone, he envisions it exploding. The heat would have triggered the pill and destroyed it. He closes his hand over it. This is a reward for those who understand the deeper meaning behind the trial. He recalls the message etched by his father. If there's heat, you lose. He raises the pill to his lips. Thanks, Father. He swallows it, then drops to the floor, cross-legged, and begins to cultivate. A brilliant purple aura erupts from his body. Energy spirals around him, filling the entire room in a mesmerizing dance of light. His eyes snap open. He exhales slowly, then rises to his feet, flexing his hand, power crackling just beneath his skin. I can feel it now, a strength in this body I never had before. The one thing I lacked most, energy, I now possess. As blue aura pulses around him, he strides into the next chamber. A new pillar stands at its center, etched with 3 lines. Differentiate life and death. If you fail, you shall be given another chance 5 days later. Those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. He frowns, one hand under his chin. Differentiate life and death? What kind of trial is this? Still, he steps forward, entering the crimson circle. Rumble. A small table rises from the floor, stone grinding as it settles in place. He looks down. A selection of plants and herbs are laid out. A flicker of understanding crosses his face. This trial, it's testing whether I can distinguish between medicinal herbs and deadly poisons. He smirks. In my past life, I spent years scouring the world for the ingredients Jeong requested. Images flash. Him climbing a jagged cliff, diving deep into dark waters, picking rare flowers under moonlight. I learned every herb and poison. This trial is nothing to me. He reaches out and confidently selects a single plant. This is the only one that's not poisonous. As soon as he makes his choice, the table sinks back into the floor. Another pillar rises. He folds his arms, amused. So they want a second test just in case someone got lucky the first time. Again, a set of herbs appear. Those who don't know will have to eat the herbs and suffer the consequences to learn. He chuckles to himself. One by one, he identifies the correct plants, and each time the pillar disappears back into the ground. Then, silence. Nothing else? Moments later, a door creaks open at the far end of the room. He walks forward, entering the next hallway. Another stone pillar awaits him, this one covered with carved comments. I'll become a poisonous human at this rate. What kind of idiot made this trial? I succeeded on the 96th try. I'm tearing up. I lost so much hair from eating all that poison. Don't count on something like luck, Father. Reading that last one, he smirks. So Father remembered everything he ate, from the very first test. He walks forward into the next chamber, a quiet confidence in his step. Fortunately, we both managed to keep our hair. We return to our protagonist standing before the next pillar, its title etched clearly, The Law's Trial. Survive the illusory life and death trap formation. If you die in the trap formation, you will actually die. Those who are ready stand within the crimson circle. He narrows his eyes at the final line. A trial where I actually die if I fail. Before stepping into the circle, he walks toward a secondary stone tablet, scanning the comments left by those who came before. It was a really tough fight. When I become the heavenly demon, I'll kill the one who created this formation. It was terrifying. I'll never step into this thing again. Then right at the bottom, his father's words, don't rest. He frowns. Is that a warning or advice on how I should live from now on? Without hesitation, he steps into the crimson circle. The world trembles. A vortex of light surrounds him. The cave dissolves. He is transported to a barren wasteland. Dead trees, jagged rock, dust swirling through dry, cold wind. He touches the ground, feels the coarse sand. His eyes widen. Wind? This feels real? Suddenly, shuffling sounds. He turns and sees them. Hundreds of undead closing in from all directions, armor clanking, eyes glowing, weapons raised. He exhales. Illusions or not, they're going to try and kill me. Then a smile. Perfect, I don't have to hold back. He unsheathes his sword, steel glinting under the gray sky. They charge, spears, blades, fangs. He dodges the first, pivots, and drives his sword up through an undead's jaw. Another lunges. He flips over them, landing with precision. Since they're not human, I can cut loose. He focuses. Blue energy flares from his body. Swoosh! A glowing slash of energy cuts across the battlefield. Undead bodies fall, cleaved in half. Thanks to the demonic essence pill, I can wield energy more freely now. But then, more come. The horde surges. Hundreds more, faster, stronger. His face hardens. He breathes in, then exhales slowly. Energy floods from him like a river, wrapping his sword in pure blue light. Then, slash-ah! A single blur of movement. Hundreds of slashes erupt from his blade, unseen by the eye. Blue lines trace across the enemy, from head to toe, across weapons, through armor. Then, silence. A beat. Then the undead collapse all at once. Blood sprays. Bodies fall apart in a synchronized, explosive chorus of death. Our protagonist stands alone, in the eye of the storm, sword in hand, calm. The field fades. The corpses vanish. He's left standing, in the dust. Is it over? A moment of quiet. Then, step. Another step. He smiles. So, it's not over after all. More undead emerge, but these are different. Clad in armor, holding bows, halberds, and tower shields. Their killing intent is heavier, their energy more refined. He straightens his stance. His grip tightens. This next wave is on a whole different level. The battle erupts. Steel clashes, bones shatter. Our protagonist slices through the tide of undead with a blade gleaming like starlight. An arrow whistles toward him. He ducks at the last second, rolling to the side, breath ragged, chest rising and falling. They're getting stronger, he mutters, wiping the sweat from his brow. A skeletal warrior in plated armor swings at him. Clang! He sidesteps, barely avoiding the blade's arc. I understand it now, what don't rest really means, he says, darting between blows, piercing a skull and spinning to decapitate another. This is the first battle that truly feels real since my regression. He flows like wind, dancing through carnage, slashing throats, splitting torsos, piercing jaws. The undead press harder, faster. But something has changed. My insights from my past life, they're finally fusing with this body. He flips through the air, landing behind a skeletal knight, blade thrusting through its skull. Hundreds of tiny daggers slice through the air toward him. He swings his sword in a crescent arc, deflecting every single one. His eyes lock onto a hooded undead, the one throwing the blades. He lunges. Slash. The figure collapses in two. "Come at me!" he roars, drenched in sweat and fury. Faster. Stronger. They come, one after another. He cleaves them all. The final warrior steps forward, taller, heavier, eyes glowing red. Slash. A brutal upward cut tears through its torso and face. It collapses. Silence falls. Our protagonist falls to one knee, sword plunged into the ground. He's barely standing. Around him, a sea of corpses. Then they vanish, dust and ashes carried off by the wind. Is it over? He is transported. The room reforms. A new pillar stands in front of him. Congratulations on passing the trial safely. I hope your strength will be used for the advancement and prosperity of the Heavenly Demon Divine Cult. He smiles faintly. I did it. But then, his eyes narrow, it only took me a single day when it took my father an entire month. He frowns. If people find out, it'll stir chaos. Instead of praise, they'll question it. He exhales deeply. I'll stay here. I'll train. I'll fully digest the insights I gained in this cave and make them mine. A few days pass. The Heavenly Demon Manor gleams beneath a brilliant blue sky. Inside the grand hall, the Heavenly Demon sits upon his throne, regal and unmoving. You took exactly 100 days, he says, voice echoing through the chamber. Not bad. Standing below, our protagonist bows his head. I did my best, but I couldn't break your record, he admits. Did you split the stone the proper way? The Heavenly Demon asks, eyes narrowed. Naturally. You left such an obvious hint, he says, and I didn't rest at all during the final illusion trial. The Heavenly Demon smirks. Just briefly. Then the expression vanishes. Did he just smile? Our protagonist wonders, stunned. Looks like you're not a complete fool, his father says dryly. Of course not. I am the great Heavenly Demon's son, after all, he replies with pride. A small huff escapes the Heavenly Demon. Silence settles between them. Our protagonist reflects. Before I regressed, I thought he took joy in watching his children battle to the death for succession, but now I see it. He pictures his father. Standing atop a mountain, white and red robes whipping in the wind, dragon embroidery gleaming like fire. He isn't someone who delights in our suffering. He's simply willing to endure our deaths for the sake of the cult. A voice interrupts the moment. To think you passed the Minor Heaven Cave in just 100 days. Second young master, that's incredible. Our protagonist turns. Standing beside the Heavenly Demon is a man in sage robes, calm yet formidable. He's the second in command of the cult, the man my father trusts most. This is Dash, Chief Advisor Sima Myung. It's been a while, Advisor Sima, our protagonist says, respectfully bowing. The throne room hangs in silence. Chief Advisor Sima Myung descends the steps, his sage robe flowing softly with each measured step. I'm glad I saw you here, he says solemnly, eyes fixed on the second son of the Heavenly Demon. I wanted to discuss something with you, about the cult. Our protagonist lifts his gaze slightly, then casts a subtle glance toward his father on the throne. He wants to talk to me about cult matters? That means Father sent him. The Heavenly Demon remains still, his gaze unwavering from the throne above. Sima Myung stops before our protagonist. Recently we received an anonymous letter. He speaks calmly, but the weight in his words sharpens the air. It claimed that there's ongoing corruption within the demonic army. That single word, corruption, hits hard. Our protagonist's eyes narrow, his mind racing. The demonic army, one of our cult's elite combat divisions. Its commander is the blood sibling of the Blood Heaven Sword Demon. So, he's involved again. Images flash. Towering halls of the demonic army, crimson banners whipping in the wind, gilded stones soaked in blood and tradition. This isn't the first letter, the chief advisor continues. Last year we received one too. We investigated a beat. But our special investigation officer was killed. By the demonic army? Our protagonist asks quietly. Seema nods. And the one who killed him committed suicide shortly after. A heavy silence settles in the chamber. Seema then steps forward. I'd like you to take on the role of special investigation officer and personally handle this matter. The weight of that request sinks in. This is dangerous. In our cult, those found guilty of corruption are executed. And those involved will kill to hide their crimes, even if the one investigating is the heavenly demon's own son. You're sending me into a death trap? The protagonist finally asks. That's right, Seema responds, calm but resolute. You'll have to put your life on the line for this mission. The young warrior's eyes shift. Upward to the man who sits atop the red-carpeted dais, the heavenly demon. Another test. Is that what this is? From the throne, the heavenly demon's voice booms. Didn't you say you'd hold them by their leashes? Our protagonist clenches his jaw. That's when I become the heavenly demon, he answers. Are you saying you're too afraid to do it now? His father fires back. The words strike deep. He lowers his gaze, sweat dripping down his cheek. I can't refuse. Not when he says it like this. He raises his head, face half lit by the chamber's glow, hand on his sword. Understood. I'll accept the mission. The two men, father and son, lock eyes. No more words, only the silence of unspoken expectation. Then, a slight smirk crosses the protagonist's lips as he exhales. Whatever you're planning, father, I'll play my role well. And one more thing, he says, shifting slightly. Since this might be my last mission, I'd like to have a drink with you. The heavenly demon says nothing. Instead, he rises from his throne, turns, and walks away, his dragon-stitched robes trailing like smoke. The hall echoes with his footsteps. Seema and the young master stand in silence as their ruler departs. Finally, our protagonist mutters with a faint smile. He acts tough on the outside, but he does care. Seema glances at him skeptically. Didn't look like that to me. Noonlight blankets the land. The demonic army manor looms beneath it. Red pillars rising high, etched with ancient markings. Lanterns casting a dim glow on the tiled rooftops. We move into the courtyard. Footsteps echo across polished stone. A disheveled man stands near the entrance, shoulders slumped, clad in a wrinkled yellow robe. Two thick books hang at his side and a lifeless gaze clouds his eyes. He bows, barely lifting his head. Nice to meet you. I am the Special Investigation Officer, Seo Daryong, from the Nirvana Pavilion. Across from him stands our protagonist, tall, composed, eyes sharp as ever. A beat of silence passes between them. Why are you here? Our protagonist finally asks, deadpan. I told the chief advisor to send the most beautiful woman from the Nirvana Pavilion. Seo Daryong blinks slowly, then offers a flat joke. I guess I look like the most beautiful woman in his eyes. Our protagonist sighs, his arms folding across his chest in annoyance. Whatever, let's just get to work. He walks past the emotionless Seo, who slowly turns and follows. Are we leaving right now? Seo asks, his voice low. Yes, the protagonist replies curtly. The two begin walking down the narrow crimson hallway, lined with old scrolls and flickering lanterns. As they move, the investigation begins. What kind of person is the demonic army commander? Our protagonist asks. Seo's reply is soft but informative. His name is Gu Cheon-yang. He's the younger brother of Gu Cheon-pa, the Blood Heaven sword demon. They continue walking. This is his 8th year commanding the demonic army, Seo adds. They've taken on the most dangerous missions and have risen to elite status. Our protagonist listens carefully, eyes focused ahead. So they're good at their job, he concludes. Seo nods. That's right. At the base of a marble staircase, our protagonist stops. Turns slightly, just enough to cast a long look at Seo, who halts behind him. What is it? Seo asks. The stare remains. Do you actually intend to investigate the corruption of the demonic army? Our protagonist asks. His voice is sharp, stern. SEO responds blankly, I intend to do so. Still, no change in expression, no passion, just emptiness. Why do you look like that? The protagonist asks, frowning. You talk like nothing matters. I can't feel any enthusiasm from you. SEO doesn't blink. Because even if we uncover corruption, nothing will change. The words float like dead air. Our protagonist stays quiet, his thoughts stirring beneath his calm expression. Does he mean unless the executives of the cult change, nothing else will? He exhales, turns back around. Are you not scared? He throws the question over his shoulder. Not at all, Seo replies instantly. A smirk tugs at our protagonist's lips. Is that so? He says, even though the previous special investigation officer died? SEO stares at him now, still blank, but his words cut deep. That officer was my direct superior, he says softly. The words hang in the air like a blade. He was the person who used to teach me. The two men stop walking, face to face. Our protagonist stares, his eyes full of new weight. Seo Jeong looks back at him, expression unchanged, yet everything unspoken lingering in his gaze. A silence that says more than words ever could. Two figures arrive at the gates of the Demon Dragon Court. The MC and Seo Jeong are immediately stopped by two guards. Where are you from? One of them asks. SEO steps forward. I am Special Investigator Seo Jeong from the Nirvana Pavilion. Step aside. I have urgent business with your commander. The MC watches Seo slightly amused. Oh, he's bolder than I thought. But the guards scoff. Special Investigator, you don't look like much. No one gets in without approval. Unfazed, SEO reveals a scroll, the official investigation order. This is all the approval we need, he declares. One guard hesitates. We'll need to report to our superiors first, but Seo cuts him off. No need, we'll be meeting your superiors ourselves. That pushes the guard over the edge. What did I just say? You can't enter without permission. Ao narrows his eyes. So, you intend to obstruct an investigation backed by official orders? The other guard steps forward. I don't care what title you hold. Once you enter here, you follow our rules. All you have is a fancy badge. It doesn't mean squat here. SEO clenches his jaw, trying to stay calm. The MC, having heard enough, steps in. Let me ask you two something. Do you even know who I am? The guards nod casually. Yeah, we know. Good, the MC says coolly. Then you know you're being disrespectful. Bam! The MC lashes out, landing a brutal kick directly to their weak spots. The two guards drop in agony. The MC continues walking. Don't just stand there, Seo. Lead the way. Flustered but obedient, Seo stammers. Yes, young master. This way. As they move deeper into the fortress, the MC and Seo are confronted by another group. Rough-looking, brutish men. More guards, but this time led by someone with clear authority. SEO steps up once again, brandishing the investigation document. Do you not understand? You're obstructing an official investigation. Do you want to end up in prison? A booming voice cuts through the tension. Where the hell are you punks from, causing trouble in my court? A bald man steps forward, exuding aggression. SEO straightens his back. I am Special Investigator Seo Jeong. State your name and rank. I'm Go Dang, the man growls. Captain of the 1st Demonic Corps. Is that good enough for you, brat? SEO sends a telepathic message to the MC. That's Go Dang, the right-hand man of this court's master. He's known for his brutal crimes. Even the demonic troops fear him. Go Dang marches towards Seo. Why so quiet now, investigator? SEO replies sternly. Captain Go, I am here under official orders from Nirvana Pavilion. Watch your tone. But Go Dang smirks. Watch my tone? What if I refuse your little scroll? What then? If you interfere, you'll be charged with obstructing a legal investigation, Seo declares. Go Dang laughs, his men joining in mockingly. You gonna arrest us? Go ahead, try. The tension rises. The MC steps forward. It's been a while, Captain Go. I believe we last met at a banquet? Go Dang narrows his eyes. What are you talking about? The MC offers a handshake, but the moment their hands clasp, crack. Go Dang winces in pain. The MC is crushing his hand with an iron grip. I'm here for urgent business with your commander, the MC says calmly. So enough posturing. Step aside. Then a telepathic message. If you try anything, I'll cut off that hand. Go Dang grits his teeth. People like you always assume I can't hurt them just because they're born into nobility. The MC responds coldly. You think you can swing that sword with a broken arm? Go Dang snarls. Let's find out. Will it be my blade that falls, or your life that ends? The MC moves past him, unfazed. Thanks for moving. I'll buy you a drink later. CO catches up, whispering urgently. Young master, do you even know who that was? That was Captain Go Dang. Nope, the MC replies nonchalantly. First time meeting him. Then, why did he let us through? I just broke his hand. He'll be eating with one hand for a while. SEO stares in disbelief. What? Stop talking, let's go. SEO leads the MC further into the stronghold, toward the upper levels. As they reach Landing 7, they're once again blocked, this time by more refined-looking guards. You may not see the commander without an appointment, one announces firmly. The MC exhales with irritation. Seriously? Aren't you guys tired of this already? He steps forward. I am an official investigator. Move. I'm afraid I can't allow that, the guard responds, unmoved. The MC lifts the scroll and stares him down. You see this document? If you stop it, you're not insulting me. You're insulting the cult leader who authorized this. The guard begins to sweat. If you want to insult me, go ahead, the MC says calmly. But insult this decree, and I'll take that as treason against the cult. Just as the guards begin to waver, a commanding voice echoes from inside the chamber. Let the second young master through. The heavy doors open. Inside, sitting leisurely atop his throne-like seat, is Commander Gu Cheon-yang, head of the demonic corps. His gaze sharp, his presence overwhelming. Welcome, second young master, he says coolly. It seems my subordinates were rude. Please forgive them. They're idiots. I ask for your understanding. The MC studies him in silence, thinking, so this is Commander Gu Cheon-yang. I can feel a terrifying energy pulsing from his body. Even Seo Daryong looks shaken. The MC addresses him. Your men intentionally picked a fight with us. Honestly, they seem better suited to reading books than guarding gates. Gu chuckles. There's a saying, fools are brave. The MC counters smoothly. That's an old proverb. These days, it's the intelligent who show true bravery. They're not only tacticians, they also understand what must be done. Gu raises an eyebrow. So I've fallen behind the times. Even with age, he remains this composed, the MC notes inwardly. Gu Cheon-yang then turns to the MC. Why were you chosen for this investigation? The MC smirks slightly. Maybe Father's punishing me for talking too much during our last hunt. Gu's smile widens, clearly entertained. They're all probably racking their brains, the MC thinks, trying to figure out why I'm here. Gu leans forward. Did Nirvana Pavilion begin this investigation because of another anonymous letter? The MC nods. Yes, we received another one. Seo looks surprised that the MC would reveal this. Gu, however, sighs. I knew it. Ever since I took this post, I've received nothing but insults. Leading a bunch of strong, brainless brutes is exhausting. The MC smiles politely. We'll make this investigation quick. I appreciate your cooperation. Gu frowns playfully. Cooperation? I thought we were closer than that. The MC chuckles. Isn't the Blood Heaven Bladesman backing my brother? Gu shrugs. He's him, I'm me. I'll support you. That brings a real laugh from the MC. Just hearing that makes me feel better. I'll count on you in the days ahead. And I'll count on you, Gu replies smoothly. I'll prepare a room for your stay. As the meeting nears its end, Gu Cheon-yang adds with a grin, Oh, and be careful, I'm really worried about you. The MC looks back knowingly. You must be talking about the previous investigator who was killed. No, Gu waves off the idea. The cult leader wouldn't send his son here just to die. I'm simply worried. Thanks for your concern, the MC says calmly. We'll be on our way. As they exit, Gu Cheonyang's expression turns bored again, yet the MC smiles to himself. I see now. The reason Father sent me here was to make sure one of us ends up dead. Inside a quiet, dim chamber, the cult leader, the heavenly demon himself, stares at his sword, deep in thought. Beside him, the chief advisor speaks urgently. This isn't a trivial matter, my lord. You should have sent me to handle it, not the second young master. But the heavenly demon does not answer immediately. He calmly polishes the blade in his hand, then says, He told me that we've already lost our way on the path of demonism. The chief advisor flinches, shocked. You sent him for saying that? The heavenly demon continues, his voice cold but composed. If he dares to speak so boldly, then he must prove it through action. The chief advisor says nothing, stunned by the implication. The next morning, a dead raven is seen hanging from a rope in the courtyard. Dozens of demonic soldiers gather, murmuring and frowning. What the hell is this? Why would anyone hang a dead bird at the front gate? Damn investigators from Nirvana Pavilion. They're such a pain. The soldiers grumble and curse the MC and Seo Jeong. From a distance, the MC watches the crowd. Interesting. The ones who tried to block us at the gate are the ones whining the most now. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupts the commotion. This is going too far. Everyone turns. A tall, muscular man approaches with a furious expression. The MC eyes him cautiously. Who's that? SEO uses telepathy. That's Captain Jang Ho of the 3rd Demonic Corps. He's one of the strongest martial artists among the captains, and extremely short-tempered. Jang Ho walks right up to the MC and CO. He points at the hanging raven. Do I even need to say why this is inappropriate? Hanging something so damn ominous where people enter and exit? The MC responds calmly. Someone from the Demonic Corps put that on my bed. I figured it was some kind of local tradition, Jang Ho snaps. If someone did something to you, you should have just punished them. Why stir up unnecessary trouble? The two men lock eyes, tension thick in the air. Then the MC speaks with sharp clarity. Fine, then I'll start with you. Jang Ho flinches, confused. What did you just say? Investigation, the MC answers firmly. Begin with Jang Ho. Submit all records, financials, movements, the works. Jang Ho's face twists with anger. You think you can do this just because you're a brat with a title? The MC doesn't flinch. I can, and I will. Rage boiling, Jang Ho slams his foot into the ground. Crack! Boom! The stone floor beneath him shatters, but the MC remains perfectly still. Feel free to get mad, the MC says coldly, but interfering with an official investigation makes you a traitor. Jang Ho's men rush to restrain him. Captain, don't. Just let it go. The MC turns away. Good, then we'll begin our investigation. With you. Jang Ho scowls. Fine, let's see where this leads. The next morning, inside a quiet room, Jang Ho sits across from the MC and Seo, arms crossed, expression stiff. The MC asks directly, How long are you planning to keep testing me, Captain? Jang Ho looks puzzled. What are you talking about? The MC doesn't hesitate. You're the one who sent the anonymous letter. Seo gasps in shock. It was you? I can't believe it. Jang Ho stammers. What the hell are you saying? Silence falls. Then, Jang Ho exhales deeply and admits it. Yeah, I sent it. How the hell did you know? The MC explains. You were involved in the Raven incident, but stayed just far enough to avoid suspicion. That was your alibi, he continues. And when I hung that raven at the entrance, only your men didn't react. No mocking, no anger. They were quiet. That silence told me everything. Jang Ho is taken aback, unable to speak. The MC goes further. Also, your men tried to stop you earlier. That tells me they knew something was wrong. You lead your squad with discipline, but even so, you couldn't ignore the corruption within. In his mind, the MC adds, There was another reason I suspected him. In my past life, one of the demonic corps captains was murdered after he sent an anonymous letter just like this one. That captain was Jang Ho. Captain Jang Ho, sitting still, finally opens up. I didn't even know if the letter would make a difference, so I didn't include too many details. I never imagined you, the second young master, would be the one sent to investigate. The MC replies with a calm, serious tone. So now that you've seen it for yourself, what do you think? Jang Ho lowers his head. I think we're all finished. Hearing this, the MC glances towards Seo and mutters with dry sarcasm. Honesty is the trend among young people these days, huh? SEO blinks and responds, but you're even younger than us, aren't you? That comment makes the MC pause, remembering, that's right, I'm living a second life now. With a heavier tone, the MC asks, so what's really going on here? Why would a demonic corps captain use his soldiers for personal gain? Jang Ho finally confesses, they're accepting assassination requests, taking money, and sending troops to eliminate targets. Soldiers of the corps have been used like pawns to murder people. The MC, stunned, mutters under his breath, I assumed it was just bribery from a few martial factions, but this is far worse. SEO gasps in disbelief. How could they? The MC quickly connects the dots. It was all done by controlling the assignment rosters. The First Corps manipulated their deployment. I'm sure of it. Jang Ho looks up, stunned. How did you figure that out, my lord? The MC calmly explains. The same way I figured out your involvement. You were the first to react to the Raven. The First Corps, they were the first to stop us when we arrived. They tried too hard to act normal. That always says something. Jang Ho clenches his fist, then quietly admits, there's more. The investigator who died before you came, he was my friend. We joined the cult together, like family. The MC narrows his eyes. Who do you think killed him? Jang Ho answers without hesitation. It must have been the one who gave the orders. The commander of the demonic corps and Go Dang, the First Corps captain. The MC's thoughts grow darker. If that's true, then this entire investigation involves massive corruption. A captain, an entire corps, and the murder of a pavilion investigator. Did Father and Sima Mayong really not know about this? Then the MC realizes, no, they knew. That's why they sent me. They wanted to see if I could truly handle it, even if it meant facing down captains of the demonic corps. He looks at Jang Ho with a serious gaze. You had a good friend. Jang Ho, holding back tears, whispers, he was a good man. If I'd been a better friend, maybe I would have done something when he died. The MC stands. Captain of the Third Corps, Jang Ho, thank you for having the courage to speak up. Jang Ho's shoulders tremble as he finally breaks down into quiet sobs. Seo Daryong and the MC sit silently, sharing his sorrow. In that moment, the MC speaks in his heart. Today, I've started to feel hope again. Hope for the demonic path that was once lost. The heavenly demon cult I envision will be a place where men like Jang Ho hold real power. In his past life, Jang Ho was killed, but this time, I won't let him die. This is the reason I came back. Seo Daryong and the MC walk together down a quiet corridor. You're different from the rumors, Seo finally said, glancing at the MC with curiosity. The MC looked at him. Oh? And what kind of rumors are going around? SEO hesitated, then admitted, there are a few. They say you're unfit to be the heavenly demon. The MC simply smiled. That's fine. I take it as a compliment. SEO blinked, clearly caught off guard by the calm response. The MC continued, his voice firm but thoughtful. To me, being fit to be the heavenly demon isn't something to be praised. Besides, the cult we have today, I don't think it needs to be ruled through fear anymore. Don't you think it's time for change? Hearing that, Seo fell silent, surprised by the MC's conviction. This cult must change. Otherwise, what awaits is the slaughter of my family, and the end of the heavenly demon cult itself. One of the investigators came rushing in, clearly distressed. There's a problem, young master. You need to see it immediately. The MC and the investigator rushed to the scene, and what they saw made the MC's eyes widen. Seo Daeryong and another investigator were covered in blood. "Stop!" the MC shouted. He hurried over. "SEO Daeryong, are you hurt badly?" Seo shook his head, panting. "I'm fine, young master, but my colleague has suffered serious injuries." The MC knelt to check the man's condition. His ribs were broken. "Take him to the medical ward, quickly." The investigators immediately moved the injured man. Then the MC turned to face a familiar figure. Go Dang, the ball captain of the First Corps. Go Dang. Was it you? Go Dang grinned smugly. "Yeah, I did it." The MC narrowed his eyes. "Why? Why would you assault a Nirvana Pavilion investigator?" Go Dang shrugged casually. "He bumped into my shoulder and just kept walking without apologizing, so I taught him a lesson." The MC snapped. "You were the one who rammed into him, weren't you?" "Even if he had apologized, you wouldn't have let it go." Go Dang laughed. "Exactly." The MC's voice turned cold. "You're poison." That word made the soldiers around them stiffen. "Poison?" Go Dang repeated, confused. "Yes," the MC said firmly. "Your subordinates are poison to you." Go Dang scoffed. "What are you even talking about?" The MC stepped closer, his voice steady. "Last year you killed one of our cult members in the manor. 2 years ago you killed 3 others in a bar fight. Every time they were low-ranked martial artists. And every time the demonic core covered it up for you." Go Dang replied, "They were all dead weight. They didn't belong in the core." The MC clenched his fist. "Do you understand that I have the authority to order an execution?" Those words made every member of Core 1 go silent. Go Dang laughed again. "Oh, and what do you plan to do with that authority? I doubt you'll actually carry it out." This is what I meant by poison," the MC thought. "A fool who thinks he can stand tall simply because others fear him. He should have started to feel fear, but instead he doubles down, acting strong before his men. He doesn't even know where he truly stands anymore." The MC began walking forward. The demonic soldiers tensed, placing hands on their weapons. Go Dang barked. "Messing with one of us means messing with the entire demonic core. You really think you're brave enough for that?" The MC smirked. "At least I'm not hiding behind my subordinates." Go Dang lifted his bandaged right hand. "Call it luck," he sneered. "I'm injured, thanks to a certain coward." The MC raised his left hand. "Then I'll fight without using my right. Just you and me, what do you say?" Go Dang grinned. "Just don't go crying to the cult leader after you get hurt." The MC looked him straight in the eye. "Even if I die here, I won't hold you responsible, I swear it." From behind, Seo's voice echoed in his mind. "What is the young master doing?" Go Dang grinned wide. "Fine then, let's do this." He raised his sword in his left hand and charged. Go Dang lunged first, sword swinging with surprising force, but the MC moved smoothly, dodging each blow with precision. Clang! The ground shattered under the sheer weight of Go Dang's strikes, but the MC remained untouchable, leaping into the air and dancing between attacks. Then, an opening. The MC dashed forward and, in a flash, spun his sword upward. Slash! A clean cut. Go Dang's left arm flew through the air. "Ah!" Go Dang screamed in agony, collapsing to his knees. But the MC wasn't finished. He slammed the hilt of his sword into Go Dang's face. Crack! Go Dang hit the ground, blood pouring from his mouth. The surrounding soldiers of Corps 1 froze in disbelief. Their captain had been crushed. Seo Daeryong called out in concern. "Young master!" But in the blink of an eye, the MC spun and slashed at the soldiers rushing toward him. Each blade met a neck. Each enemy fell in one motion. The courtyard was littered with fallen corpses. Silence descended. Even the remaining soldiers stood motionless, terrified. The MC, standing amidst the fallen, spoke coldly. Their crime was treason. Go Dang, gasping and bloody, tried to plead, "Please, have mercy." The MC looked down at him. "Do you even know what happened to the families of the people you killed?" Go Dang had no answer. "Of course not," the MC growled. "You never cared. They lost fathers, husbands, sons, and you think they just went on with their lives? Go Dang mumbled an apology. I was wrong. Please. Shut your mouth, the MC snapped, then stomped down, splattering blood across the stone. The soldiers could only watch, paralyzed. Who do you think you are, the MC said through clenched teeth, to murder your own cult members? Demon Dragon Court later that night. Inside a lavish hall, music echoed gently. A woman played an instrument while others danced. The MC sat across from Gu Cheonyang, commander of the demonic corps. Gu Cheonyang raised his glass. I heard there was trouble downstairs. The MC replied calmly. It wasn't planned, but yes, there was a conflict. Gu Cheonyang sighed. We had to dispatch the first corps captain because we had no choice. There were too many suspicions about him. What trash, the MC thought. He served you loyally, yet you act like he's a disposable tool. Gu Cheonyang sipped his drink and continued. You killed a captain of the demonic corps. If this becomes a big issue, things won't be easy for you. He smiled. So, how about we put this all behind us? The MC looked at him. I'd love to end this cleanly, but there's one issue. Gu Cheonyang paused. And what would that be? I don't have any proof. I came here for an official investigation, but I've got nothing to report to my superiors. Gu Cheonyang poured himself another drink and said casually, Just fake the evidence. The MC raised an eyebrow. I can't. The anonymous letter we received said there were external assassination requests accepted for money. That's not something I can sweep under the rug. So if you want this investigation shut down, you need to give me the evidence. A few hours later, Seo Daryong rushed over. Second young master, what are you doing here? The MC standing outside a recovery room answered, I came to check on the wounded. Why so surprised? SEO looked stunned. The demon cult's top healer is treating him? He usually only cares for the highest ranking members. Also, thank you for calling him here. The MC smiled. Of course, we may be investigators, but we're still comrades working side by side. SEO was speechless. Just then, the demonic healer stepped out. Ah, young master, you're here. The MC recognized him immediately. The healer was the most skilled in the cult, only treating the elite. How's his condition? The MC asked. The healer nodded. He's out of danger, but he'll need time to fully recover. Good, the MC said. They were hurt serving the cult. Please use the best medicine. Of course, young master. The other investigators overheard. Their expressions shifted. One by one, they bowed slightly. Thank you, young master, one said. You really did your best to save him. The MC said nothing, only turned and walked away. Outside the medical hall, SEO Daryong followed behind the MC. What did the demonic corps commander say? He asked. The MC answered plainly. He wants us to end the investigation and just report that the first corps captain was the sole culprit. SEO's eyes widened. Even though one of his most trusted subordinates just died? The MC shook his head. That man wasn't someone important. He was just the most convenient tool. Someone else will fill that position soon. SEO pressed further. Then, what will you do now, young master? The MC gave a faint smirk. I've already thrown the bait. Now I want to see how he responds. Bait? CEO asked, puzzled. The MC simply said, I'll tell you once the fish bites. For now, join me for a drink. SEO blinked in surprise. A drink? All right, but I'm paying this time. The MC smiled in return. Next morning, investigators' quarters. SEO brought over a stack of documents. Young master, these are the records we received. Assassination requests, financial ledgers, and other important papers found in the first corps captain's home. The MC glanced at the files and smirked to himself. He took the bait. Then he looked to Seo. I want you to find the smartest person in the first corps. Someone weirdly well informed. Too competent. I'm certain there's someone behind all this. SEO nodded. Understood. While you're on that, the MC added, I'll stall the commander a bit longer. Back at the commander's chambers, the MC arrived with a calm smile. Commander Gu Cheonyang, We've found evidence in the first Corps captain's estate. Gu Cheonyang grinned. Oh? Wonderful. Then it's over, right? Let's drink. I already reserved our table from last time. But the MC didn't match his energy. There's a problem. Gu Cheonyang's smile faltered. What now? The evidence came from the demonic corps, not from us investigators. That's an issue. The chief advisor isn't stupid. He'll suspect that the whole thing was fabricated. Gu Cheonyang's eyes narrowed. He briefly imagined the chief advisor's stern expression. So what's your suggestion? He asked cautiously. The MC leaned in slightly. Let's pretend we're still investigating, just for one more day. We'll do a full-scale inquiry. I need your cooperation, access to non-sensitive documents. Gu Cheonyang hesitated, then reluctantly nodded. Fine, I'll tell my men to help. The MC smiled politely. I don't need anything sensitive. Just the basic paperwork, contracts used to hire assassins, and the last testaments of agents who died on dangerous missions. With those, I can trace the handwriting. A secret interrogation room. Inside a dark room, a man named Yang Gu sat tied to a chair, his arms and legs bound tightly. Why are you doing this to me? He demanded. The MC stepped forward. Because you forged the assassination request that was sent to our office. Yang Gu's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. The MC crossed his arms. You probably don't. You were just following orders. But I don't want obedience. I want truth, Yang Gu stammered. I swear, I never received any such order. The MC studied his expression for a moment, then sighed. I get it. You're scared your commander will kill you. Yang Gu didn't respond. Then the MC untied him. You're free to go. What? Yang Gu stammered, confused. You're not going to torture me? No, the MC replied. I don't enjoy hurting loyal subordinates, especially those with no choice but to follow orders. He turned his back on Yang Gu. But you do realize, right? We investigators will be leaving this place safely. You, however, won't. Yang Gu flinched. What do you mean? The commander already knows we detained you. If you walk out of here unharmed, what will he think? That you've talked. Yang Gu's face drained of color. You know what kind of man he is. What happens to someone he thinks is a traitor? Yang Gu began trembling. His jaw clenched, teeth grinding in sheer panic. Seo Dae-ryong, gritting his teeth upon hearing the MC's words, spoke to the MC. According to Jang Ho's suspicion, 3rd Corps captain of the demonic army was the one who ordered the murder of the Nirvana Pavilion investigators and Jang Ho's colleague. The one who executed all those orders was Go Dang, the 1st Corps captain who is already dead. There are also other evil deeds that have been committed. Listening to the explanation of the case from Seo Dae-ryong, the MC stayed silent, contemplating his next move. Seo Dae-ryong then said to the MC, They have killed many people, but Gu Cheonyang, the demonic army commander, won't simply let himself be imprisoned. Hearing this, the MC told Seo Dae-ryong, I won't be taking him to prison. Seo Dae-ryong was shocked by the MC's statement, prompting him to ask the MC why. The MC, with a serious expression, replied, I'm not going to imprison him. I'm going to kill him. Hearing this, Dae-ryong couldn't believe what the MC just said. The MC informed Seo that if Gu Cheonyang, the demonic army commander, were imprisoned, then Blood Heaven's sword demon would also move, as he wouldn't simply sit still and watch his younger brother be executed. If that happened, things would become complicated and dangerous. The MC explained there would be numerous fabricated pieces of evidence claiming no one gave orders to Go Dang to commit those crimes, causing all the crimes to be pinned on a scapegoat. Many insults and sinister schemes targeting the MC would then follow. If we let the demonic army commander live, others will be killed to cover up their crimes. Even Yang Ho, who sent the letter, would die. All 3rd Corps soldiers trying to protect him would also be killed. And you too would be on that list, Seo. Seo was shocked and speechless upon hearing this. But if the 3rd Corps commander dies during the arrest, then the situation will be different. All that remains is proving his crimes. Seo Dae-ryong then asked the MC, But will you be alright? The Blood Heaven sword demon will seek revenge. The MC stood from his seat and replied, "Not everyone seeks revenge when their family members die, especially Blood Demon. He isn't someone who would waste his life on revenge." Seeing the MC heading toward the exit, Seo Durong asked, "Second young master, where are you going?" The MC suddenly stopped, turned around and said, "I already told you. I will kill demonic army commander Gu Cheonyang." Seo Daryong was surprised and disbelieving, asking the MC, "Right now?" After a short while, the MC arrived in demonic army commander Gu Cheonyang's room. Sitting there, served fruits and alcohol, the MC informed Gu Cheonyang, "We've completed this investigation thanks to your help." Gu Cheonyang smiled and replied, "I'm glad the investigation has ended. Though relieved, I'm saddened because it's time to part ways." Facing the demonic army commander, the MC said, "When I become the successor, I'll definitely repay the kindness you've shown me." Hearing this, Gu Cheonyang responded, "Those are my words exactly. I won't forget your good intention to resolve this investigation without trouble." The MC smiled inwardly, thinking, "Indeed, you won't forget this incident. You're extremely greedy. You've suffered a huge loss this time. Of course, you won't forget it." The MC then picked up alcohol, saying to Gu Cheonyang, "Let's drink to the end of the investigation." Gu Cheonyang smiled and replied, "Certainly." The MC poured alcohol into Gu Cheonyang's small cup. Suddenly, the MC asked, "Why did you do it?" Hearing this, Gu Cheonyang asked, "Do what? What do you mean?" The MC replied, "You should have enough money to spend comfortably until old age. Why are you so greedy, using the demonic army to accept requests for money?" Hearing this, Gu Cheonyang stopped himself from drinking and placed the cup back on the table. He then said, "How would I know? You should ask the late First Corps captain." Responding, the MC asked, "Would a puppet know anything?" Gu Cheonyang asked, "What are you trying to say, second young master?" The MC answered, "I was genuinely curious about your thoughts, but I suppose there's nothing in that deep darkness within you, just endless greed, always craving more." Gu Cheonyang, enraged by the MC's words, shattered his cup and shouted, "Have you lost your mind?" The MC replied calmly, "You're the crazy one for accepting all those requests." Gu Cheonyang shouted again, "I'm sick of your nonsense." His shout made the place chaotic, with fragments of the building flying everywhere. The MC appeared calm, continuing to enjoy his drink. Suddenly, Gu Cheonyang ceased his rampage and stood frozen, because a sword had unknowingly pierced his body. The MC drank his alcohol and declared, "Fifth technique of soaring sword art, heavenly strike." After finishing his drink, he dropped the cup, shattering it. Standing up, the MC said, "Demonic Army Commander Gu Cheonyang, you're under arrest for abusing the demonic army for personal gain and for more than 20 cases of murder or instigation of murder." Gu Cheonyang, in pain from being stabbed, replied, "This isn't an arrest." The MC answered, "Indeed, you'll also be executed. Just leave this world for those who will continue living." The MC pulled out the sword embedded in Gu Cheonyang's body. Gu Cheonyang immediately vomited a large amount of blood. Witnesses couldn't believe what they saw, as Gu Cheonyang, the demonic army commander, died sitting in a pool of blood without resistance. The MC then announced to everyone present, "Listen, the demonic army commander died during the arrest for the serious crimes he committed." Gu Cheonyang's subordinates, witnessing this, were frozen in fear, unable to act. The MC then shouted, "Seo Daryong, arrest all First Corps members and imprison them. This case will be officially investigated." Seo Daryong responded, "Yes, young master," bowing his head. The MC continued, "Third Captain Jang Ho, everyone under your command except the First Corps members will assist Nirvana Pavilion investigators in arresting the First Corps members. I've received full authority to handle this case, so my orders are the same as those of the cult leader. Carry out my orders immediately." Jang Ho replied, "Yes, young master," bowing his head. Seo Daryong and Third Captain Jang Ho were safe, not dead like in the past. Seeing this, the MC smiled. The next day, the MC stood in front of the building where his father, the heavenly demon, was located. Entering the building, he found 3 people waiting inside: the Heavenly Demon, the Chief Advisor, and Blood Heaven's Sword Demon. Walking toward the throne, the MC noticed Blood Heaven's Sword Demon, whose gaze was filled with the intent to kill him for murdering his younger brother, demonic army commander Gu Cheonyang. The atmosphere inside the cult's grand chamber was tense. Standing before the Heavenly Demon's throne, the MC lowered his head in formal respect. The Chief Advisor observed his arrival silently while the Blood Heaven Sword Demon fixed his sharp gaze upon him. "Good to see you again, second young master," said the Blood Heaven Sword Demon, breaking the silence. "I want to ask about what truly happened." Without hesitation, the MC replied calmly, "Everything is in the report. You're free to read it." As the Blood Heaven Sword Demon stared at him, the MC shifted his gaze toward his father and thought, "They're testing me. Father and the advisor are just watching, curious how I'll handle this. The investigation revealed your brother committed serious crimes," the MC continued. "He tried to kill me during the arrest. I'm sorry for his death." The Blood Heaven Sword Demon nodded. If he committed such acts, then punishment was deserved. "But," he added, "he might have been pitiful, but he wasn't foolish. I doubt he'd attack when the truth was already exposed." The MC, fully aware of what could have happened, remained composed. If he had lived, he would have begged his brother for help. Blood Heaven probably knows I killed him to erase the root of the problem. "I'm not sure why he did it," the MC responded. "Perhaps he just couldn't accept being captured." There was a pause. "I heard he was in a frantic state," the MC added. "That's why he couldn't fight at full strength." "Thanks for telling me," the Blood Heaven Sword Demon smiled faintly. "That brings me peace." The MC forced a soft smile. "No need to thank me. My condolences for your brother." He didn't show a hint of anger. "I killed his brother and student, yet he remains composed." This man is dangerous, the MC thought. The Heavenly Demon, seated upon the throne, finally spoke. "Prepare your brother's funeral. For now, get some rest." "Thank you for your kindness," the Blood Heaven Sword Demon said with a bow before leaving. As he passed by the MC, the latter thought, "He's probably going to report to Father that I've gone too far, or ask whether my methods were truly necessary." Now alone with the Heavenly Demon and the Chief Advisor, the advisor turned to the MC. "Well done, second young master. The evidence you've gathered is sufficient to close this case without issue. Are you injured?" "I'm fine. Thank you for your concern," the MC replied politely. The advisor then presented a long object wrapped in cloth. "The cult leader has prepared a gift for your service." The MC unwrapped it and his eyes widened. "This is the Black Demonic Sword?" "Yes," the advisor confirmed. "The cult leader has given it to you." Black Demonic Sword, one of the 2 legendary weapons alongside the White Demonic Sword, the MC thought. If Father really wanted to reward me, he should have given me the White Demonic Sword. It suits my personality better. The Heavenly Demon opened his eyes at that moment. "The Black Demonic Sword suits you more." "So, Father doesn't understand me as well as he thinks," the MC mused, unsheathing the blade. As soon as the blade left its scabbard, a freezing aura spread across the room, chilling like winter itself. "It's freezing cold even without any energy flowing into it." The Heavenly Demon smiled faintly at his son's reaction. The Chief Advisor was visibly surprised. Did the cult leader just smile? Is he proud of his son? Sheathing the sword again, the MC bowed deeply. "Thank you, Father, not just for the sword, but for what it means." The Heavenly Demon's eyes briefly widened again, taken aback by the sincerity. "You may leave," he finally said. Outside the residence, the MC encountered the Blood Heaven Sword Demon again, lounging nearby. "The sun feels warm today," he said. "Why don't we sit together before you go?" I knew he wouldn't leave quietly. As the MC sat beside him, the demon noticed the Black Demonic Sword and raised an eyebrow. "Hot day, isn't it?" the MC said. Suddenly, the demon burst into rage. "How dare you attack and kill my brother? I'll tear you apart and offer your flesh at his grave." The MC could barely react, overwhelmed by a blazing heat as if he were thrown into a furnace. But then The demon smirked. That's what I should be saying, right? He raised his sword, intending to smack the MC like he had once done before. But the MC caught his hand and snapped, You senile old fool. Have you grown old but remained this immature, breaking cult rules for your brother's sake? If you move again, I'll shred you into dust. A frigid energy burst from the MC's body, causing the demon to flinch in surprise. That's your declaration? The demon asked. That's my answer, the MC replied, smiling coldly. Suddenly, the Bloodheaven Sword Demon laughed loudly, echoing across the courtyard. Ha! You're right, he finally said. But still, maybe you could have gone easier on him. He was my brother after all. I tried, the MC snapped. I wanted to settle it peacefully, but he crossed the line. There was no line left to respect. I see, the demon muttered, then glanced away. You're aware of the corruption within the demonic core, aren't you? Yes, why did you let it fester? He wouldn't listen to me, and truthfully, I'm not innocent either, the demon admitted. When I heard he died, I was relieved. At least he wouldn't be an obstacle anymore. The MC was stunned. He's honest about his own brother? I understand, the MC said quietly. The demon turned sharply toward him, shocked. You understand? Yes, because if I ever hear that my own brother died, I might feel relieved too, since I wouldn't have to kill him with my own hands. The courtyard fell silent, only the wind remained. The Bloodheaven Sword Demon could say nothing in return. The sun blazed high above, casting long shadows across the cult grounds. The MC sat quietly beside the Bloodheaven Sword Demon, the tension between them thick as iron. The older man glanced sideways, his eyes unreadable. What do you see when you look at me? The MC wondered silently. The Bloodheaven Sword Demon suddenly turned his gaze skyward. Looks like this year's heat will be worse than usual, he murmured. The MC didn't answer. The old man stood, walking away without looking back. Lucky for me, I'm not weak to heat, the MC muttered under his breath, unsure if the demon had even heard. As the elder's figure vanished in the distance, the MC's thoughts grew heavy. I can't read him. Maybe he's plotting revenge. Or maybe he'll bury this incident like clouds swallowed by the horizon. Either way, I have no regrets. The training hall. Inside a quiet chamber, the MC stood alone, facing his new weapon, the black demonic sword. Drawing it from its sheath, he whispered, Nice to meet you. From now on, I'm your master. A chilling aura burst from the blade the moment his energy touched it, so immense it caught him off guard. This power, it's completely different. I like it. He practiced thrusts and sweeps, the weight and chill of the sword sinking with his rhythm. Sweat beaded down his brow, but he continued, training for hours, forging a bond between sword and soul. Later, exhausted but focused, the MC stepped outside to catch his breath, only to freeze in shock. A wall of demonic soldiers stood in formation outside the hall. Their expressions were cold, their intent clear. Among them stood the elite, the sword demons, and even subordinates of the Bloodheaven Sword Demon. Did they come on their own, or were they sent? Either way, their hostility is clear. The air trembled as they unleashed a surge of demonic energy toward him. The MC braced himself. One wrong move and this pressure alone could cripple me. They weren't attacking yet, but their aura pressed down on him like a mountain, trying to scare me into submission. Then he remembered something. If I absorb this energy, I can use it. In a bold move, the MC activated Meridian Strength Technique, a forbidden martial art that allowed him to absorb and harness energy from multiple martial sources simultaneously. Demonic auras surged into him, flooding his meridians. His body trembled, his skin cracked with glowing yellow veins, but he held firm. More. Keep going. Again and again. He stepped forward. And again and again. His technique evolved past the second stage into the third, then the fourth, and finally. By the time he opened his eyes, he was surrounded. Every warrior stared at him, not with contempt but with fear. One massive soldier stepped forward to block his path, but flinched under the MC's piercing gaze and stepped aside. Like a wave parting for the tide, the entire line of sword demons opened a path. They've acknowledged me, the MC thought with a smirk. Good. Cult Leaders Hall. The heavenly demon sat silently on his throne. The MC stood before him, eyes raised to the ornate seat. You wish to sit there? The heavenly demon asked suddenly. The MC flinched. He hadn't sensed his father's presence behind him. Number I wouldn't defile your throne, he answered. Then try it, his father said, gesturing for him to sit. Hesitant but obedient, the MC sat. The chair felt cold. How does it feel? His father asked. The MC looked around the chamber. His gaze fell upon the demonic statue beside the throne. I thought I'd feel excitement, he said, but I feel nothing. Same here, the heavenly demon replied. The first time I sat there, I felt nothing too. He killed his own brother to sit on that throne, the MC thought. I wonder what he felt that day. Then his father added, the sword demons who came to test you did so of their own will. The blood heaven sword demon didn't send them. I know, the MC said. I acted as if their energy didn't affect me, but if just one of them had attacked, I might have died. He clenched his fists. I didn't fear them. I feared making the wrong move. I feared that a single mistake might destroy everything. A pause. I missed you, Father. The heavenly demon was silent. Then he said, a demon does not look backward. He walks forward. Always. The MC looked at his father. Was that his way of comforting me? He smiled faintly. Then, Father, instead of those ugly demon statues, can we replace them with statues of the Central Plain's most beautiful women? The heavenly demon glared at him. The MC stood up quickly. I'll take my leave now before I talk myself into trouble. Father, please sit. As he turned to leave, he paused, then asked, Father, may I kill the blood heaven sword demon? For the first time, the heavenly demon's face filled with visible rage. Inside the vast chamber of the heavenly demon, laughter boomed like thunder. Ha! You may have slain the demonic corps commander, he said between chuckles, but defeating the blood heaven sword demon, you are not ready. The MC stood in silence, absorbing the insult. Then with a calm yet cutting tone, he asked, Then why pit me against him in the first place? Wasn't it you who created this conflict? Shouldn't you take responsibility? The laughter died. The heavenly demon's voice dropped an octave. I will take responsibility. He stared down at the MC. I'll appoint you as head of the Nirvana Pavilion. The room went quiet. The MC's eyes widened. Nirvana Pavilion, the cult's own investigative bureau? He stiffened. So this is it. He wants me to clean up his mess. Whether I live or die doesn't matter, as long as I serve his purpose. The MC's fist clenched. His gaze hardened. If you want me to go out and slay a beast, he said coldly, then at the very least, give me a blade to do it. The heavenly demon raised an eyebrow. What is it you want? The MC looked him dead in the eyes. Grant me entry to the heavenly demon archive. A beat of silence. The heavenly demon's expression flickered, genuine surprise. That place holds the rarest martial manuals in our cult, he said. And you think just reading titles will make you strong? The MC didn't blink. I want to test my own luck. After a pause, the cult leader relented. 7 days, that's all. The forbidden archive. Rows of ancient scrolls lined the towering shelves. The MC walked slowly through the sacred space, his footsteps echoing. This is the true core of the heavenly demon cult. He recalled his past life, when his face was disfigured and unrecognizable, when decades passed climbing the ranks just to meet the new cult leader. It was that leader, Joe Bekdo, who once revealed a secret. I only became cult leader because I found the lost technique, 4 strides of the wind god. I discovered it here. The MC remembered his words clearly. The manual was never stored on the shelves. It was propping up shelf 19. Following that memory, the MC found shelf 19. He crouched, reached beneath, and there it was. It's real. He pulled the weathered book free, opening it with reverence. With 4 steps, one can traverse the world. A smile tugged at his lips. In seclusion, The MC trained day and night. He memorized the 4 forms. Shadow step, a movement technique to sneak past detection. When mastered, it allowed total invisibility, even from 10 direct gazes. Flicker step, used to evade inescapable strikes, slipping through the slimmest of gaps. Dead step, a penetrating assault that shattered any defense. Swift step, a movement so fast that even the word speed failed to capture it. His aura sharpened, his presence blurred. Each step brought him closer to perfection. Scene shift, throne room. 7 days later, the MC stood before his father once again. "I've returned." He bowed deeply. The heavenly demon's voice rang out. "What did you learn?" The MC answered plainly. 4 strides of the wind, God." The throne creaked. The cult leader stood. "Don't joke with me," he growled. "You expect me to believe you learned the lost shadow step?" The MC looked up calm. "I would never lie to you about something like this." A long silence. "Show me," the heavenly demon ordered. "Demonstrate your skill." The MC smirked. "What will you give me in return?" The leader narrowed his eyes. "Your life." The MC laughed. "Fair enough." Inhale. A gust of wind whipped around him. 4 strides of the wind, God. With a single step, his body vanished, like a flickering shadow. The heavenly demon's jaw tightened. He watched in stunned silence as his son reappeared in the blink of an eye, no longer visible, but felt like the chill of a storm. "He's moving like a ghost." "Impossible," the cult leader whispered. The MC stood still now, composed. His father's eyes were wide in undeniable awe. The towering heavenly demon narrowed his eyes, stepping toward the MC. "Where did you learn the 4 strides of the wind, God?" he asked sharply. The MC didn't flinch. "Inside the heavenly demon archive." The answer made the heavenly demon stop in his tracks, his expression twisted. "Don't lie to me. That technique doesn't exist in the archive." But the MC stood firm. "I swear, I found it while I was in there." "Still lying?" the cult leader growled. "You really think that manual is in there just because you've seen a few footwork scrolls?" The MC replied calmly. "You believe it's not there because you assume you've seen everything worth reading. Then tell me, where did you find it?" It was wedged beneath a crooked bookshelf being used to prop it up. A long silence passed. The heavenly demon closed his eyes. "So that's where the key pages went." The MC blinked. "How do you know that?" The heavenly demon slowly turned his back to him. "Because I would have done the same thing." He walked toward the throne but paused and glanced back. "Teach me the steps." The MC froze. "So it's come to this. I don't want to defeat my father or take his seat. My goal is to kill Hwaugi, to save father, to save everyone in the pavilion. I only wanted him to live long enough to see the world. If teaching him this art helps, I'll do it." The MC gave a faint smile. "I refuse." The heavenly demon glared at him. "Nothing's free, father," the MC added casually. A twitch of irritation crossed the demon's face. "I taught you that sword technique in the hunting grounds for free. That was just payment for the alcohol you drank there?" "You've held that in this whole time?" the demon shouted. "You little—" "I held it in until I was strong enough to make it worth something." The heavenly demon scowled. "What do you want?" "The heavenly demon defense art." The words hit like thunder. "That's impossible," he bellowed. "That technique is reserved for the heavenly demon, or his successor." The MC replied coolly. "Just teach me in secret. It's not something anyone can see from the outside anyway." The demon went silent, staring at him with disbelief. "I'll leave you to consider it," the MC said, turning to walk away. But behind him came a voice. "I'll allow it, if you teach me the 4 strides first." The MC turned slowly, genuinely surprised. He actually agreed. "I can teach it now if you'd like," the MC offered. The heavenly demon snorted. "You're assuming I'll uphold my end even if I master it first? You're not the kind of man to go back on his word in front of his own son." The demon was silent. Then finally he said, "Fine, show me." The MC nodded. "All right, father." He began to explain each movement, the theory, the flow, the foot placement. Shadow step, flicker step, dead step, swift step. When he finished, he asked, "Shall I repeat that?" The demon shook his head. "No need." Then, whoosh! He vanished. The MC's eyes widened. He's fast. Fast. His body left flickering after images. That's not what I taught him. It's his own interpretation of the 4 strides? The heavenly demon reappeared with a smirk. It's a fine martial art. The MC, still stunned, thought, after my regression, this is the biggest change. Will Hua Mugi even be able to beat Father now that he has this power? Suddenly, the heavenly demon said, "I'll teach you the heavenly demon defense art. I'll only say it once, so listen well." The MC stood straight. "Yes, Father." Later, the MC staggered out of the training chamber, a visible bruise on his forehead. Leon gasped. "Who did this to you? Which bastard hit you? I'll kill—" "It was my father." Leon froze. In the MC's memory, the training flashed again, grueling, punishing, but effective. I finally learned the heavenly demon defense art. Back in the present, the MC smiled faintly. "We share a secret now, Father. I'm happier about that than even learning the technique itself." Whack. The heavenly demon flicked the MC's forehead again. "Don't get cheeky." Later that day, the MC approached Leon, who stood silently nearby. "Why are you still here?" "I'm your shield, not your sword," she said. "I protect, not attack." The MC blinked, then chuckled. She never used to joke like this before. "Leon," he said softly, "I still can't fix your body's petrification effects, but I swear, I'll find a way. Just hold on a little longer." She didn't respond, but in her silence, there was hope. The wind was still as Wangjia looked at Leon, her silhouette cast in silver light. "I told the cult leader this place must change," he said quietly. "It should be a home for those like you, where no one has to sacrifice their bodies just to protect others." Leon said nothing. Her breath caught. Then Wangjia smiled at her. Leon's eyes widened. For a moment, she looked like she might cry. Suddenly, Wangjia raised his voice. "Leanne, from this moment on, you are relieved of your duty as my bodyguard." What?" Leon stammered, frozen in shock. "You're firing me?" Wangjia smirked. "I'm promoting you. You'll be the captain of the Phantom Shadow Corps." Leon blinked. "That unit doesn't even exist." "It does now," Wangjia said. "A special corps that answers only to me." "To lead a unit?" "I'll need resources, and I'll get them the only way I can. By surviving the mission that ended in slaughter before I regressed." A red-clad mercenary barked orders in the gathering dusk. "I'm Yang Dong. I'm leading this mission. It pays well, but it's dangerous. Anyone who screws up dies." He turned to Wangjia. "You, new guy, recommended by that scout Seo?" Wangjia nodded. "That's right." Yang Dang narrowed his eyes. "Can I trust your skills?" Wangjia grinned. "Want to test me? I can slice through your entire body if you want." Yang Dong spat. "Big talk. Let's see if you're still smug when your head's rolling." Wangjia smirked, but added, "Don't worry, I'll follow your lead as long as I get paid." Later that night, the party stopped to camp in the forest. Dusk gave way to firelight. Yang Dang handed out strips of dried beef. "Eat well. Might be the last decent food you get." Grumbling echoed as some complained it was only jerky. "Could be worse," Yang Dang snapped. "Better than starving." Wangjia sat quietly in the corner, observing. They're going to die tonight, he thought. Back then they were ambushed. Not even bodies were found. Suddenly, cough, gurgle. One man vomited blood, then another, and another. Screams erupted as one by one the mercenaries collapsed, blood spilling from their mouths. "Poison," Wangjia muttered, stunned. Yang Dang stepped toward him, alive and smirking. "Why are you still fine?" he asked coldly. Wangjia turned slowly. "I didn't eat your food." Yang Dang grinned, drawing his sword. "Too bad. Would have been easier if you just died with the rest." So it was him all along, Wangjia realized. The commander poisoned his own team for money. Wangjia met his eyes. "What a sad life you live. Killing your comrades for coin." What's it all for? Yang Dang laughed. For booze, for women. What else do you need? A voice cut through the forest. It's over, Yang Dang. A new figure rode in with 3 assassins, cold and focused. Wang Jia felt their presence. They're strong. Yang Dang turned. So you're finally here? The newcomer, Prajurit Quan, shouted, Get out of the carriage or I'll burn it down. From inside the carriage, a woman and child slowly emerged, terrified. So you were hiding like rats, Quan sneered. You embarrassed me. I was punished for losing you. The woman trembled, pleading, Please, spare my child. Quan paused, then mocked, You think I'll show mercy? Beg for it? The child began to cry. Spare him, and I'll pay you 10 times the bounty, the woman offered, voice shaking. Quan laughed. Spare me your lies. Your father's already captured. The woman's face went pale. Quan then noticed Wang Jia. Who's that? Our MC responded. I'm just someone who's received money to bring the 2 of them to their destination. Yang Dang replied, Just a vagrant I haven't dealt with yet. Quan barked, Kill him. Now. Yang Dang turned, unsheathing his blade. Time to die, stranger. Wang Jia chuckled. So predictable. Betraying even your own master? What makes you think you'll get paid? Yang Dang paused. Wang Jia leaned in. They'll cut you down next. You're just a loose end. Quan's face darkened. Loose end? You're the one who's gonna die first, he shouted. He pointed at Wang Jia. Kill him. As Yang Dang moved. Thunk. A dagger buried itself in the back of his neck. He fell. Dead. Quan lowered his arm, having thrown the blade. Fool. I should have known not to trust a scumbag like you. Wang Jia looked at the corpse, then at Quan. That's what happens to traitors who kill for money. Khan's soldiers appeared very annoyed upon hearing Wang Jia's words. Soldier Khan then ordered his 3 assassins to attack Wang Jia simultaneously. Seeing this, Wang Jia glanced behind him, where the woman and her child stood. Wang Jia instructed the woman to cover the girl's eyes and ears. The woman immediately obeyed without asking anything, shutting her eyes and covering the child's eyes and ears. Before he could even turn around, the 3 assassins swung their swords simultaneously at Wang Jia. Precisely in the split second before the 3 assassins' attacks reached him, Wang Jia unleashed the technique, 4 strikes of the wind god, Death Step. Soldier Khan, seeing Wang Jia suddenly appear in front of him, was extremely shocked. Soldier Khan wondered how could he be so close. He was shocked again because in that brief instant, Wang Jia had swiftly cut off the heads of all 3 assassins. The woman was also shocked upon seeing the 3 assassins' bodies simultaneously fall before her. Seeing his 3 assassins defeated, Soldier Khan froze in shock and asked Wang Jia, Who are you? Hearing Soldier Khan's question, Wang Jia replied, Hey, that's my question. Who are all of you? Suddenly, the woman who was with her child said, The one named Khan is, I am Dar from the Golden Manor. She continued, This is the reason I hid my identity and lived as a wandering soldier. In Fujian, there was an incident where the Golden Manor master was betrayed by his most loyal followers and lost his life. His daughter also died. Seeing Wang Jia's back turned, Soldier Khan thought he saw an opportunity to kill Wang Jia. Soldier Khan drew his sword and moved to attack Wang Jia, thinking to himself, I see an opening. Just as he swung his sword, Wang Jia, sensing Soldier Khan's sudden attack, swiftly swung his sword backward without looking. Wang Jia's blade accurately sliced through Soldier Khan's neck, separating his head from his body in one swift stroke. Cyan, witnessing Soldier Khan die instantly from a single slash, was utterly shocked. Wang Jia, noticing the soldier had tried to sneak attack him, remarked, These trash always try to strike when I'm looking elsewhere. Cyan, witnessing Wang Jia's unimaginable strength, said to Wang Jia, I want to hire you. Please help us. Wang Jia smiled upon hearing Cyan's plea and replied, Since the situation is now different, my fee will be higher than usual. Cyan responded firmly, That's fine, no matter how expensive you are. We'll surely pay you. Please save my father. Wang Jia smiled again upon hearing this and said, Then let's go save your father. The scene shifted to someone with a sword at his waist laughing loudly. Seeing an approaching carriage, the man said, "Finally, we have captured them both. The plan we prepared 10 years ago has succeeded." Suddenly, his expression turned shocked when he saw Cyan and her child stepping out of the carriage accompanied by Wangjia. The man wondered, "Where is Soldier Khan?" Hearing the man's question, Wangjia replied, "Everyone else is dead except me." The man was shocked to hear that Soldier Khan was dead. He then asked Wangjia, "Dead? Who killed him?" Hearing the man's question, Wangjia replied, "He was killed by a mysterious martial master who was young and handsome." Confused, the man said, "Young and handsome? Who do you mean?" He turned to Wangjia angrily and asked, "Why are you praising your enemy?" Hearing this, Wangjia looked amused. Finally realizing Wangjia's meaning, the man said, You're the one who killed Soldier Khan." Wangjia smiled and replied, "Seems you have a talent for observing people." Immediately, the man's subordinates surrounded Wangjia. The man then shouted, "You've safely escaped with the woman and her child. You could have left and never returned, but you came back into the tiger's den." Wangjia replied mockingly, "Tiger's den? Where's the tiger? All I see here is a dog that bites its own master." Cyan, scared by the men drawing their swords, watched nervously. The man in red clothing observed Wangjia closely and said, "He killed Soldier Khan, and instead of running away, he came directly into the enemy's headquarters. Despite being surrounded, he appears confident and relaxed. He must not be ordinary." The man in red greeted Wangjia and said, "Who are you? Let's go inside first and talk over a drink. Although we meet under these circumstances, I'll still buy you alcohol." Wangjia replied coldly, "There's no need to speak politely. I won't treat you kindly even if you act politely. You can curse me as much as you want." Irritated by Wangjia's response, the man in red ordered his subordinates to kill Wangjia. Following the order, the soldiers attacked Wangjia simultaneously. Surrounded, Wangjia used the technique 4 strides of the wind god and swiftly moved toward one of the subordinates, slicing him down. One of the soldiers, amazed by Wangjia's speed, exclaimed, "He's too fast." Suddenly, Wangjia's sword cut through the soldiers one by one effortlessly. The man in red, shocked upon seeing Wangjia eliminate all his subordinates without even a scratch, stared in disbelief. Wangjia stood calmly atop a pile of freshly slain bodies. The man, covered in cold sweat, asked nervously, "Who exactly are you?" Wangjia replied, "I'm no one important, just a mercenary who smelled an opportunity to make a lot of money." Surprised by Wangjia's mention of money, the man quickly offered him money, saying, "If you want money, tell me how much is enough to make you leave." Wangjia, hearing this offer, asked sarcastically, "Are you serious?" The man pleaded desperately, "Wangjia, I have enough money to change someone's life. Just name your price." Wangjia smiled coldly and responded, "Why did you even do all this if you already had money? Especially when it belonged to your own master." Hearing Wangjia's words, the man in red stood speechless, unable to respond. Suddenly, one of his subordinates took Geom Aso, Cyan's father, hostage. He threatened Wangjia, ordering him to drop his sword. The subordinate placed a blade against Geom Aso. Cyan, seeing this, screamed, "Father!" The man in red, smiling triumphantly, said to Wangjia, "Drop your sword now, or the Golden Manor Master will die." Suddenly, Wangjia swung his sword vertically, creating a straight line that reached the man holding Geom Aso hostage. The man in red clothing was shocked, standing frozen as his subordinate's sword broke, revealing a thin red line across his body. Wangjia, having performed the vertical slash, calmly said, "Sing sword art fourth form, flaming heavens." The subordinate holding Cyan's father hostage was suddenly split into 2 halves. The man in red screamed upon seeing his subordinate sliced in half. Wangjia then coldly said to the man in red, "What was it you said earlier?" Wangjia approached the traitorous man. The man, terrified, tried to plead. "Wait," he shouted. Wangjia responded coldly, "I don't care what you have to say. Step forward, if you don't want to die." The man flinched, remembering the moment Wang Jia killed the one who held Golden Manor hostage. He thought, he used an incredible sword aura earlier. His internal energy must be nearly drained. Driven by this assumption, the man drew his sword and attacked. Wang Jia blocked it effortlessly. But the man's strength was surprisingly formidable, pushing Wang Jia back slightly. He diverted the attack, shattering the ground beneath them. The man gritted his teeth. "I'll gather all my energy and finish this now," he thought, swinging once more. Again, Wang Jia deflected the blow. And again, the man struck relentlessly. Wang Jia gradually retreated, calmly parrying each strike. The traitor noticed this. Is he really out of energy, he wondered. He's only defending. If I push just a bit more. Suddenly, he froze. Wang Jia's sword had pierced his heart. "You're pathetic," Wang Jia muttered. "You should have spent your life training instead of drowning in greed. You were the head bodyguard meant to protect Golden Manor, and this is what you chose to become?" Wang Jia pulled his sword free. Blood spilled. The Golden Manor leader and his daughter approached. "You saved us from destruction. May I know your name?" Wang Jia replied, "Just a passing wanderer." The leader frowned. Even a wandering king couldn't defeat them so easily. "You give me too much credit," Wang Jia replied humbly. The Golden Manor grounds were in ruins. "You've come to the right place," the leader said warmly. Wang Jia smiled. "That's why I disguised myself as a traveler, to help them." In the Golden Manor treasury. "For saving our lives," the leader said, "we must reward you." Wang Jia replied, "I don't ask for much." "Then how about you take as much treasure as you can carry?" Wang Jia was shocked. I can take as much as I can carry," the leader clarified. "No wagons, no help, only your own strength." Wang Jia smiled. "Then I'll carry as much as I can." "You saved our lives," the leader said. "This is the least I can do." Wang Jia nodded, grateful. The leader pressed a button to open the vault. Wang Jia stepped inside alone. From outside, the daughter, Seon, whispered, "With his martial level, he'll take more than you expected, father." "Is that okay?" the leader replied. "There's nothing in there more valuable than him. We can earn money again, but a bond with him is irreplaceable." Seon remained silent, moved. The leader continued, "He's no ordinary man. He may be young, but he hides an incredible talent. I can't explain it, but his aura, it's unlike anything I've felt before. Let him take as much as he wants. The more he takes, the deeper the bond we form." Days later, Wang Jia climbed the steps of the Heavenly Demon's palace. "I sold all the treasure," he thought. "One store couldn't handle it, so I went from city to city." A flashback shows Wang Jia shocking the Golden Manor with the mountains of treasure he carried out. He sold it all, amassing 38 million yang. "This will be the foundation of my personal army." He entered his father's throne hall. The Heavenly Demon sat, reviewing reports with his advisor, Simam. This is where life and death are decided, Wang Jia thought. Will father be satisfied with this life? Like Li Han and I, does he want to pass on the Heavenly Demon title? Suddenly his father spoke first. "I heard you've been out." Wang Jia smiled. "Yes, to earn money." "Why? Do you need money?" his father asked. "I can't keep using your funds. I'll need lots more in the future." His father's eyes narrowed. "And how do you plan to spend it?" "I want to create my own private group." The Heavenly Demon and Simam were shocked. "A private group?" "Yes," Wang Jia said. "Each Demon Supreme gathers his own followers. If I want to face them, I need my own." The Heavenly Demon immediately refused. "No, that will divide our clan. I forbid it." Wang Jia fell silent, eyes closed. "I expected this," he thought. Then he pulled something from his robe and handed it to his father. With a wave of his hand, the Heavenly Demon used a martial technique to take the item without touching it. He opened it. "What is this?" he asked. Wang Jia replied, "A pocket allowance. From me, to you." The Heavenly Demon was stunned. "This is the first time I've given you anything as your son. A small thank you for raising me." Wang Jia bowed. Please rest well, father. He turned and walked away. The heavenly demon turned his gaze to the item Wangjia had just purchased for him. Slowly, a rare smile spread across his face. Chief Advisor Siam Young, who had never seen the heavenly demon smile before, was shocked. Meanwhile, at the Nirvana Pavilion, Wangjia and Lihan stood side by side, gazing out the window. Suddenly, someone arrived and announced, "It's time, Pavilion Master." Wangjia turned to see Seo Durong, the man who once accompanied him during the investigation of the demonic commander Guanyang. Wangjia smiled. "So you're here?" Seo replied, "I volunteered." Wangjia asked, "Never thought we'd meet like this again, did you?" Seo admitted, "To be honest, I was surprised you're now leading Nirvana Pavilion." They smiled at each other. Two comrades reunited. Then Wangjia said, "Let's go." Lihan and Seo Durong followed him, smiling. The three walked out to join the assembled members of the pavilion. As Wangjia stepped out, he was greeted with cheers. "Long live the young master of Nirvana!" The pavilion members beamed with enthusiasm. One remarked, "He's a lot more friendly than I expected." Wangjia teased, "Did you tell them their salaries would be cut?" Seo laughed. "No, Master Wangjia. Everyone's spirits are this high because of what you did." Wangjia thought to himself, "It all started during the investigation of Commander Godong." Godong, head of the 1st Demon Corps, had killed one investigator and injured another. Wangjia had tended to the injured and then personally shattered every bone in Godong's body. Seo Durong urged Wangjia to speak to the pavilion members. Facing them, Wangjia began, "No one knows if you will be happier or more miserable now that I'm your pavilion master, but I do know one thing. Your hearts will beat faster than ever before." Laughter and cheers erupted from the troops. They were fired up. Wangjia grinned. "It's a good mood today, but this paper you're giving me, is it to kill me?" Seo Durong handed him a report. "This is the unjust case you asked me to investigate." Wangjia frowned. "Why does this involve the Blade Demon again?" Seo explained it was related to Wangjia's previous request. Lihan cautioned, "You need to be careful this time. Last time, the Sword Demon nearly lost control." Wangjia handed her the paper. "What's written here is too unfair. We can't just cover it up. If you can, read it and fix it." Lihan read the report and sighed. "You have to do something about this." Elsewhere, inside a local tavern, a drunk man slammed his glass on the table. A waitress approached. "Stop drinking. I understand your pain, but you've had enough." The man, red-eyed, growled, "How can I stop? That bastard put my son in a coma for 10 days and got away scot-free." The waitress was stunned. "Didn't Nirvana Pavilion take over that case?" The man muttered, "Yes, but the investigator was useless, and the attacker's father, he's the Blade Demon, leader of the 100 sword demons under Blood Heaven." The waitress froze. The man clenched his fists. "Nirvana Pavilion is just as bad, maybe worse." The waitress whispered, "Lower your voice. You don't want them to hear that." He shouted, "Let them hear. Tell them to come kill me. Bring the damn sword demon if you want." The waitress pleaded, "Please, calm down." He sobbed, "If my son doesn't wake up, my wife won't survive either. I'll kill that bastard and then kill myself." Suddenly a voice spoke. "You think you can kill him?" 3 men with swords stood nearby. One stepped forward. "Who do you think you are? Threatening the beloved son of someone important." The drunk man screamed, "Give me back my son's life. I haven't even heard one apology." Shockingly, the attacker stepped forward, bowed his head, and said, "I'm sorry. What I did was terrible. It won't happen again." The drunk man was speechless. Then the 3 men laughed at him. Humiliated, he drew his sword, but the attacker was already in front of him. Bam! A punch landed square on his face. The drunk man flew backward, bloodied. "You think your son was so righteous?" the attacker sneered. "He refused to steal money for us. Said his father earned it with blood and sweat." He punched again. "You called me trash. Your son thought he was better than me." The drunk man muttered, "You just confessed. With your own mouth." The attacker asked, "Confessed what?" The drunkard, bleeding, replied, "Everyone here heard you admit why you hurt my son." The attacker turned to the crowd. "Did anyone hear me say that?" Silence. The waitress and everyone else looked away. The attacker smirked. The drunkard cried, "Even when I speak the truth, no one hears me." One of the attackers mocked him. "A grown man crying like a fool? Like father? Like son?" Suddenly, clang! A sound cut through the tension. They all turned. The voice belonged to Wang Jia. As everyone turned toward the sound, there stood Wang Jia, the new leader of the Nirvana Pavilion. The mohawk-haired man and his two friends looked back startled. "It's him, the new master of the pavilion." The mohawk man shouted, "Who the hell are you?" Wang Jia frowned slightly. "Is it normal for you to insult someone before you even know who they are?" He stepped forward. "How were you raised?" The mohawk man stiffened, anger building. "Shut your mouth, you stingy bastard. I'll say what I want. Whoever you are, stay out of this." Wang Jia's expression darkened. He glanced at the bloodied victim on the ground. "That man's influence is deeper than I thought." The mohawk man, confused, barked, "What are you mumbling about?" Suddenly the beaten man croaked, "Young master." The mohawk trio froze. The bystanders gasped, The young master? Why is he here?" The mohawk man stammered, You're the young master?" The commotion grew louder. Wang Jia raised his voice calmly. "Silence. I'm here today as the master of the Nirvana Pavilion." Li Han leaned over and whispered, "Wouldn't that just make them even more terrified?" Wang Jia chuckled. "Probably." The mohawk man quickly bowed. I'm sorry. I failed to recognize a figure so revered in our cult. I was ignorant and foolish. Please forgive my rudeness." Wang Jia looked him over. "You don't act like a brat. You know when to bow. Smart for your age." The mohawk man bowed again and said, "I'll take my leave now." But as he turned, "Wait," Wang Jia said. Everyone stopped. "You assaulted a victim's father. Your crimes aren't just serious, they're despicable. At least 20 years in prison." The mohawk man gasped. 20 years? He tried to explain. "It was just a spar gone wrong." Wang Jia's face tightened. "Did you forget? I'm the master of Nirvana Pavilion, and I heard your confession. Every word." The man's face turned pale. "If you frame me, my father won't sit by." Wang Jia smiled coldly. "Don't worry, your father is busy. He's facing arrest for obstructing a Nirvana Pavilion investigation." The man shouted, "You think he'll stay silent? Once I'm out, I'll get my revenge. I'll even kill you from prison." Before he could finish, thud! Wang Jia struck him in the gut with full force. Water burst from the man's mouth and eyes as he collapsed. Wang Jia stood over him. "Threatening the pavilion master adds 10 more years. That's 30 now." Tears streamed down the man's bloodied face. Please, forgive me." Wang Jia knelt slightly. "Forget your father. Give me one reason why I should forgive you." The man couldn't answer. Wang Jia asked again, "Have you ever saved someone's life? Helped anyone?" Silence. Wang Jia raised his hand. Slap! Blood sprayed from the man's nose and mouth. He fell unconscious. "Live kindly after prison," Wang Jia muttered. He turned to the two companions. They froze under his gaze. We were just following orders. Please forgive us," Wang Jia warned. "If you lie, you'll face charges too." They quickly said, "We'll talk. We'll tell you everything." Wang Jia nodded. "Take them to the pavilion." "Yes, master," a member replied. The 3 criminals were escorted away by Nirvana Pavilion members. The servant and the victim's father stood speechless. Wang Jia addressed the crowd. "If you face injustice, come to Nirvana Pavilion. I am its master. No outside power will taint justice here." Everyone fell silent. Wang Jia added, "If someone threatens to call their father, tell them I'll call mine too." Laughter and applause erupted. Li Han approached the victim's father. "Sir, your son is recovering. Before we arrived, I saw with my own eyes. He's awake." Tears welled in the father's eyes. Thank you, young master. I will never forget this kindness. Wang Jia smiled. You've dedicated your life to this cult. Naturally, the cult must protect someone like you. The man grasped Wang Jia's hand with trembling gratitude, repeating, Thank you, as tears streamed down his face. Li Hun, Seo Durong, and the others looked on, deeply moved. Wang Jia whispered, No, it's the cult that should thank you. In front of the Nirvana Pavilion courtyard, Wang Jia stood before the entire Nirvana Pavilion investigative force. As he gazed at them, he thought silently. I assumed the first resistance would come from Blood Heaven, SW Demon, or the 100 Sword Demon, but to my surprise, the first to oppose me comes from within. A man stepped forward, Special Investigator Gokmung. He bowed to Wang Jia and said, I should have visited your office directly, but with so many people present, I had no choice but to risk this discourtesy. Wang Jia, unfazed, asked calmly, What brings you all here? Gokmung responded, I heard you reopened a case that was already closed without charges by the pavilion. Wang Jia nodded. That's correct. Gokmung pressed, Don't you think doing so undermines the integrity and authority of the Nirvana Pavilion? Wang Jia turned to address everyone present. Do all of you share Investigator Gokmung's opinion? The entire investigative force responded in unison. Yes, we do. Wang Jia, unfazed, replied, My opinion differs. I believe this incident alone has damaged the pavilion's integrity more than reopening the case ever could. Gokmung was visibly taken aback. Wang Jia continued, Have you all heard the rumor that when I arrested Yang Ho, he confessed to everything in front of witnesses? Gokmung nodded. Yes, young master, we heard. Wang Jia pressed, Then why are you all here with such grave expressions? Gokmung answered, We're here to discuss the reopening of a closed case. Wang Jia asked pointedly, Is this really about principles? Gokmung confirmed, Yes, this is unprecedented. With a frown, Wang Jia retorted, A child was beaten to the brink of death. The perpetrator confessed and was captured. Shouldn't we investigate further? You think clinging to principle is better than protecting the innocent? Gokmung fell silent. Wang Jia sighed and said, Fine. Let's see where everyone stands. If you believe the case should be reopened, step forward. For a moment, no one moved. Then one man stepped forward, Seo Durong. I believe this case must be investigated further, he said. Wang Jia asked, Why? Seo Durong replied, Because the initial investigation was insufficient. There may have been outside interference. Wang Jia nodded approvingly. Good. Anyone else? Another man stepped forward. It was Ikko, a man injured during the Captain KPS incident. Gokmung looked surprised. Ikko bowed. I'm Ikko. I didn't greet you properly before. Thank you, master. Wang Jia asked, How's your injury? It's healed. I'm fine now, Ikko said. Wang Jia scanned the crowd. Investigator Jeong. Jeong, startled, replied, Yes, young master. Gokmung looked even more shocked. Wang Jia asked, You were in charge of the original investigation. What's your opinion? Jeong answered confidently, I conducted the investigation properly. Wang Jia replied, Or did you accept a bribe from the sword demon? Jeong froze in shock. Gokmung stepped in, outraged. How can you accuse him like that? Wang Jia's gaze sharpened. A powerful energy radiated from him as he spoke coldly. Answer me, Jeong. Did you take money from the SW demon? Jeong trembled. I did not. I swear on my life. If you doubt me, conduct an investigation. Wang Jia gave a small smile. So it's true. You didn't take any bribes. Gokmung and Jeong were stunned. Gokmung exclaimed, You're investigating your own investigator? That's only allowed under special authority. Wang Jia answered calmly, This is a special investigation authorized directly by the cult leader. Gokmung was shaken. The cult leader gave direct orders? Wang Jia nodded. Which leaves me confused. If you didn't take money, why close the case? Jeong, now emotional, whispered, I didn't close it. Lightly. Wang Jia pressed. You don't even like money. You're truly not corrupt. So why would an honest man shut this case down? Then Wang Jia declared, I discovered your greatest weakness, your younger sister, your family. Zhonghua flinched. Gokmung asked, were you threatened? Zhonghua lowered his head in silence. Gokmung yelled, answer me! But Wang Jia raised a hand to stop him. This man is your most trusted junior, Gokmung, and you were ready to protect him even now. Wang Jia then looked at Zhonghua. If you were worried about your sister, you needn't be. I've already assigned martial enforcement to guard your home. She'll be safe until this case is closed. Zhonghua's eyes widened. Is that true? Wang Jia nodded. Yes. Suddenly, Zhonghua burst into tears and fell to his knees. I was wrong. Gokmung was stunned. Wang Jia said, even under threat, you know your actions weren't justified. Through tears, Zhonghua replied, yes, Pavilion Master. I'll accept any punishment. Everyone was taken aback. Wang Jia helped him up. Had this happened after I took office, I wouldn't have spared you, but since it occurred before, I'll forgive you, this once. Zhonghua sobbed louder. Thank you, truly thank you. Wang Jia added sternly, but your integrity must be rebuilt, from zero. Zhonghua cried out again, I will. Everyone smiled at the sight. Then Wang Jia raised his voice for all to hear. Listen well, from the moment I became Pavilion Master, your families became my family. If anyone harms them, they answer to me. I will protect you and those you love. If there's ever outside pressure, report it to me directly. I'll ensure you can all serve with complete confidence. The entire Nirvana Pavilion stood in stunned silence as Wang Jia smiled proudly. Wang Jia stood before the hall, his expression firm. Only when we feel safe, when our families are safe, will Pavilion Nirvana truly function. I don't care who they are. If someone commits a crime, they must be punished, even if they're from the Heavenly Demon Pavilion. Gasps filled the room. Wang Jia's eyes narrowed. Even if it's the cult leader himself, I'll hold him accountable. Shock rippled through the crowd. What I fear, Wang Jia continued, is not our enemies. It's that Pavilion Nirvana will become useless, unable to protect the innocent or punish the guilty. That those who should be jailed walk away with a smile, while we do nothing. Silence gripped the room. A soft voice suddenly broke through. I know I'm late, but I wish to stand with the master of Pavilion Nirvana. Everyone turned. It was Joyoung. Xiu Durong blushed. Joyoung. She stepped forward, standing behind Wang Jia and beside Xiu Durong, her stance clear. She supported Wang Jia. Then one by one, the remaining Pavilion Nirvana members followed, lining up behind Wang Jia. Even Gokmung, once skeptical, stood stunned, alone on the other side. Wang Jia turned to him. To realize my vision, I'll need your experience and support. Will you help me? He extended his hand. Gokmung stared at it, stunned. Then he slowly reached out, shaking Wang Jia's hand with trembling fingers. Thank you, Master Pavilion. Wang Jia clasped his hand. Investigator, take the law enforcement officers and arrest Yang Tai, the 100-sword demon. Gokmung replied, he won't go quietly. He commands 100 demons. Wang Jia's gaze turned icy. Then let him do as he pleases. If he resists, I'll charge him with rebellion. Cut to Yang Tai, shocked and fuming. Second young master, call me Master Pavilion Nirvana, Wang Jia interrupted. Forgive me, Master Pavilion. What is the meaning of this rebellion charge? It's the only way I could make you come. Wang Jia's eyes locked onto his. Yang Tai sighed. I apologize for not coming voluntarily. As a senior, there are appearances to maintain. Wang Jia nodded. I understand. This was never meant to escalate like this. It started with children playing, but it spiraled. Yang Tai chuckled softly. I knew you'd understand. Still, managing Pavilion Nirvana won't be easy. You'll need funding. Wang Jia's inner monologue. He's circling the point. He's trying to bribe me. Yang Tai continued. And if you want to be recognized as the true successor, you'll need our backing. Right now, everyone supports the first young master. Wang Jia smiled. I'd appreciate your help. Yang Tai bowed. Of course, I will serve you well, Master Pavilion. I'll even host a grand feast in your honor. Wang Jia raised an eyebrow. Going somewhere? Huh? I thought we were done talking. Wang Jia's voice turned cold. When you said you'd help, you didn't mean after leaving prison, did you? Yang Tai froze. Don't joke like that. Do I look like I'm joking? We're talking about your threat to murder an investigator's family. I never made such a threat. Doesn't matter, Wang Jia replied. I have testimony. In our cult, a Pavilion Nirvana investigator's word holds more weight than anyone's. That law protects their authority. Yang Tai was stunned. I didn't know. I just learned it too, Wang Jia said. But people like you made such laws necessary. Confess now and I'll reduce your sentence to 10 years. If not, 20. That's my final offer. Yang Tai's face darkened. You've gone mad. Wang Jia smiled coldly. If I have to go mad to fix this, then I will. It's hard to deal with people like you sanely. He stood up. I'll give you a few minutes to think. Yang Tai asked, Why are you doing this? Your son nearly killed his friend. Not just one fight, years of bullying. Then you threatened an investigator's family to cover it up, and you dare ask me why? Yang Tai snapped. We deserve more respect than this. Pavilion Nirvana has ignored problems like this for years. Wang Jia's voice sharpened. Those are disturbing and dangerous words. What do you mean? Yang Tai asked. It won't happen again. Yang Tai growled. The Demon Supreme won't stand for this. He did nothing when I killed the Demon Force commander. He won't do anything for you. Yang Tai slammed the table in rage, splitting it in half. See this, Master Pavilion? Wang Jia stood. Is that a threat to my family now too? Yang Tai fell silent. Wang Jia stepped out. You have minutes. Confess. Outside, Wang Jia clenched his jaw. Inner monologue. Was the fall of the demon cult really just because of Huamogi? Yang Tai, the 100 sword demon, is threatening investigators without fear. Has our hierarchy fallen that far? Just then, he saw someone ahead. It was the Bloodheaven sword demon. Relaxed, leaning on his sword, sipping a drink. He raised his glass. Welcome, second young master. Or should I say, Master Pavilion Nirvana. Wang Jia didn't respond, his eyes locked on the dangerous smile of the demon in front of him. In a quiet hall lit by flickering candles, Wang Jia sat across from Bloodheavens. Bloodheavens silently poured tea into Wang Jia's cup. With a wry smile, he spoke. I warned you before, meeting me too often never ends well. Wang Jia chuckled dryly. You're the one always seeking me out. Bloodheavens downed his tea in one gulp, eyes locked on Wang Jia. When you won that duel and made your request to the cult leader, I thought to myself, now that's a clever one. He'll make a request worthy of a tactician. He smiled broadly. Wang Jia nodded, smirking. I thought it was a pretty good move myself. Just as Bloodheavens was about to pour another drink, his tone sharpened. You dare to insult my subordinates. Your brother exploits the demonic forces for personal gain, and your men threaten Nirvana Pavilion investigators. That sword mourns, not for itself, but for the disgrace it sees in its master, Wang Jia replied calmly. If the investigation clears him, he'll be released. Suddenly, Bloodheavens released a burst of violent energy. The air itself seemed to tremble. Wang Jia clenched his fists, feeling the overwhelming pressure. So this is his true aura. No wonder Father said the time wasn't right. Bloodheavens stared him down. If you came to ask for something, ask. Don't give me advice or philosophy. Wang Jia didn't flinch. Fine. The old master laughed. You're honest, rare in these times. But beware, stagnant water always rots. Bloodheavens poured another drink. Want a drink with me? He passed the cup to Wang Jia, who paused, then accepted. All right, I'll let the stagnant water flow. Wang Jia nodded. Wise. Blood Heaven smiled again. But from now on, you are my water. Wang Jia blinked in disbelief. What? Did he just say I'm his water? Then came the bombshell. If you want to become the demon, I'll support you. Wang Jia's heart pounded. Why me? You backed my brother, and now you cast him aside? Blood Heaven shrugged. That was before I realized what a lunatic you are. Wang Jia stared. He's insane. For my ambition, I sacrificed my younger brother, mutilated my nephew, and imprisoned my sister. The tension grew. Don't be foolish, Wang Jia. A splinter under your own nail hurts more than someone else's pain. The matter of the eldest son hasn't been officially decided. Even if it has, people can always change their minds. Wang Jia lifted his cup. Having you by my side would be like commanding an unstoppable army. But why me? Blood Heavens answered calmly. Your fearless madness. It made me believe I could wager my destiny on you. Wang Jia paused. So you chose me? Because I'm crazy? Blood Heavens laughed. Then use that madness to devour everything. Wang Jia went silent. If I were younger, I'd be flattered and believe his every word. But I know better. This is a trick to manipulate young men. Become the heavenly demon, the old man had said. It's the kind of line that makes you think following him will take you there. Wang Jia looked at the drink, seeing the reflection of his younger self. He placed the cup down gently. I appreciate the sentiment, but now is not the time. I have responsibilities. Blood Heavens looked at the untouched cup. What would father think, Wang Jia muttered, that I've abandoned my duties to play politics? Blood Heavens countered, but what if you succeed as Nirvana Pavilion's master? If the cult leader endorses you, would you really waste your life stuck there? There's only one path left for successor, or nothing. Wang Jia's expression darkened. He's not wrong, but there's one thing he's missing. This cult needs discipline. That's not just my desire. It's my father's will too. Wang Jia stood. Give me time. I'll drink after I've made my decision. Blood Heavens nodded. That's how it should be. Only a fool drinks just because he's told to. Suddenly he drew his sword and slashed at Wang Jia, fast. Wang Jia blocked it instantly. A shockwave erupted between them. Blood Heavens smirked. I'll wait for your answer. 5 days. Wang Jia nodded. Then you'll have it in 5 days. Blood Heavens glared. 3. You have 3 days. With that, he turned and left. Wang Jia sheathed his sword, wincing as he gripped his wrist. Damn, old man, that hurt. We open on the intense training grounds of Nirvana Pavilion. Sweat and blood drip from trembling hands. Pavilion members struggle through push-ups, each bearing an enormous log on their backs. Their screams echo through the field, unrelenting. Jeong Ho stands before them, a drill sergeant incarnate. Tired already? This is basic training, the same kind the demonic army endures. And you, the enforcers of Nirvana Pavilion, can't even handle this? He paces with fury. How do you expect to carry out your duty like this? Remember, your wife, your child, your friends, anyone can betray you. But the sweat you shed today will never betray you. Cut to a distant vantage point. Wang Jia watches with Wendeng beside him. He smirks. It's funny hearing him talk about wives and children, especially since Jeong Ho's not even married. Wendeng chuckles. True. Then suddenly he grows serious. But Wang Jia, how did you pull it off? Wang Jia raises a brow. Pull what off? That public apology from the Sorendens. Who would have guessed they'd admit to their wrongdoings? Wang Jia laughs. Why don't you go ask them? I'm sure they'd love to explain. Wendeng scowls. Don't joke. If I stepped into Sorenden territory right now, I wouldn't leave alive. Wang Jia answers calmly. Actually, you could dance on their training field and walk out without a scratch. Wendeng falls silent, eyes wide. Then Wang Jia remembers Blood Heavens, still awaiting an answer. Tay Sai, the 100 sword demon, and his son. Send them both to the cruelest prison we have. They need to pay for what they've done. Wendeng nods. As you command, young master. As Wang Jia walks away, His thoughts darken. If I didn't step in, they would have lived comfortable lives, while the Sorendens suffered in silence. There may be others like Gokso still out there. If we don't root them out, more will follow. I won't allow that kind of trash to thrive again. Night falls. In the quiet village of Maga, confusion brews as the locals gather near a new building with a sign, Pavilion Nirvana, Village Branch. One villager asks, "What is this place?" Suddenly, Wang Jia steps from the shadows. From today onward, if anyone suffers abuse at the hands of our cult's martial artists, they can report it here. The crowd buzzes in shock. But Lord Wangjia, what about the normal process? Another man chimes in nervously. Just to reach Nirvana Pavilion, we'd have to declare our visit at the main gate, go through identity checks, body searches, multiple rounds. Wangjia nods. That's why I built this branch. If your problem involves one of our martial artists, come here. A stunned villager asks, "Are you serious?" "Yes," Wangjia affirms. "Spread the word. Tell everyone in Maga. If they're harassed, they can report it here. Anyone who tries to silence you will be executed." The old shopkeeper bows deeply. "Young master, you're truly bringing justice to us." Wangjia offers a rare smile. "This is just the beginning. Starting from this pavilion in Maga, I will protect low-rank martial artists and ordinary people. The weak shall no longer suffer under the strong." He steps back through the pavilion gates, only to find Bloodheaven sitting casually with his sword, waiting. "Ready to drink with me now?" he asks. Wangjia takes a seat. "I'm ready." Bloodheavens pours a drink. Wangjia watches him closely. "Drink," Bloodheaven says, but Wangjia raises a hand. "I need something from you first." Bloodheavens pauses. "What is it?" Wangjia leans forward. "The demonic army." Bloodheavens is stunned. "You want my army?" Wangjia nods. "Serve them to me on a platter." Silence. Bloodheavens finally replies, "Everything in this world has its own rules, young master." Wangjia smiles faintly. "Isn't enjoying food with your drink one of those rules?" Bloodheavens covers his face, groaning. "I waited all day, and this is your ridiculous request?" In one fluid motion, he draws his sword. "Let's test your resolve." He strikes. Wangjia barely blocks the blow. The impact shakes the ground. His arms tremble. Bloodheavens grins. "Not bad. You use just enough inner energy to withstand that. Taking your head won't be easy." He strikes again. This time, Wangjia meets his blade head on. The clash unleashes a shockwave. Energy crackles between them. Bloodheavens laughs. "Twice in a row. You're impressive." Wangjia, sweat dripping, braces himself for more. The clash of swords between Bloodheaven's sword demon and Wangjia unleashed a shockwave so intense that the ground beneath them cracked apart. The very air pressure from their battle shattered nearby structures, sending debris flying. Wangjia was flung back from the collision, while the Bloodheaven's sword demon stood frozen, staring at his trembling, ringing sword. Then, a sinister smile curled across his face. "Interesting. Very interesting," he sneered, raising his sword high. Power surged around him. Wangjia's eyes narrowed, clearly irritated. "I'll test my wind god footwork here," he muttered. "Let's see if he can counter Death Step." As Bloodheavens released a massive surge of energy, plants nearby withered instantly. Wangjia clenched his jaw, raised his sword, and thought, "The timing isn't right. I can't risk a full fight without adequate strength." Instead, he shouted, "Hand over command of the demonic forces." The Bloodheaven sword demon tilted his head. "Who are you proposing as commander? Certainly not you, master of the Nirvana Pavilion." Wangjia replied firmly, "Jeong Ho, leader of the 3rd Division." "Jeong Ho?" Bloodheavens raised a brow. "He's one of yours. You do know that greed can crumble your ambition." Wangjia snapped, "You were the one who said we should devour everything in madness, and now you question my path?" Bloodheavens was silent. Then he muttered, "Madness." "Yes," Wangjia continued. "If it were anyone else, they'd be insane just standing by my side." Blood Heavens paused, shocked into silence. Wang Jia stared at him coldly. I still don't know what your true ambition was. You died before it was ever revealed. The first of the 8 demon supremes to fall. Why you? We see his sword, now broken and dripping with blood. The Blood Heavens demon trembled in anger, teeth clenched. This is your greed, he roared, flipping the table and kicking the drink he brought for Wang Jia. He leapt away and vanished, but Wang Jia smirked. He can't refuse me. He knows I have 7 other tables besides his. A few days later, Jeong Ho stood before Wang Jia uneasy. The Blood Heavens demon, he recommended me as commander. That was your doing, wasn't it? Wang Jia smiled. Just as I thought. You're sharp. Yes, I asked him to consider you. Jeong Ho blinked. I appreciate the honor, but I'm not qualified. Wang Jia shook his head. Even the dead commander once held the post. Lead as you did Division 3, and you'll be the greatest in history. Stunned, Jeong Ho replied, You honor me too much, young master. Or maybe you underestimate yourself, Wang Jia said. Besides, the other candidates, they're just for show. Later that night, Wang Jia entered his father's quarters, finding the heavenly demon in a flower-printed pajama. Wang Jia stared, then asked, Is that new defensive armor? His father blinked. It's my pajamas. Wang Jia looked puzzled. It's not even late. Isn't sleeping this early a security risk? What if the Murim Alliance finds out? The heavenly demon sighed. Get to the point. I plan to use the Blood Heaven sword demon as my blade, Wang Jia declared. His father frowned. Didn't you plan to kill him? Pointless, Wang Jia replied. He's more useful alive. His father stayed silent. Wang Jia continued in thought. When he recommended Jeong Ho, you must have known we were working together. The heavenly demon warned. He won't bend to your will like a sword. I don't want him to bend, Wang Jia said coldly. I'll use him until he breaks. Then I'll discard him. He's not worth keeping. His father questioned, And if he strikes you down? Wang Jia smiled. Then I'll take the blow. But there's a difference between us. If he breaks, that's the end. But the more I'm cut, the stronger I get. The heavenly demon replied, Easy to say. Why are you even reporting this to me? Because I'm on your payroll, Wang Jia grinned. His father chuckled. You're not here for approval, are you? No, Wang Jia said. I'm here so you won't approve. Excuse me? I want to break his pride. He's too arrogant. Sometimes he acts like he's above even you. So you're letting go of military power just to humble him? Let's be honest, Wang Jia said. I do want something from him. And for that, this can't go as he planned. What's more important than leading the demonic army? Wang Jia smirked. In some ways, nothing. That's why I'll take that too. I'll take everything. His father said nothing, then turned and walked away. Stop joking and get out, he muttered. Wang Jia stared at his back and thought, Father, nothing tonight was funnier than your pajamas. Blood Heaven SWW. Demon stood before the heavenly demon and said, Perhaps he doesn't meet the cult leader's expectations, I said. But this young master has been making waves within the cult lately. The heavenly demon responded calmly. Isn't he your creation? Lowering his head, Blood Heaven replied, This young master is the creation of the new cult leader. Only now do I realize how extraordinary that creation is. The heavenly demon closed his eyes and murmured, He's still a bit childish. Blood Heaven nodded and said, That's exactly why I bring this up. I want to mold this young master into an even greater masterpiece. The heavenly demon replied, If you're taking action, the second young master might see it as a coincidence. Do as you wish. Blood Heaven grinned. Since you've granted permission, may I ask for your full support? The heavenly demon tilted his head. What exactly do you mean? Blood Heaven paused and responded cryptically. The heavenly demon suddenly remembered Wang Jia's warning from the previous day. No matter what happens, do not agree to Blood Heaven's request. With a cool tone, the heavenly demon said, The matter of the commander of the demonic troops is delicate. Bloodheaven countered. This aligns with the second young master's own wishes. The heavenly demon sighed. As you know, I've already supported the second young master quite a bit. I must also consider the first young master. Bloodheaven said coldly. While watching over your disciples, I've realized something. When offering support, it's better to back one person completely. Failing to do that has brought me plenty of criticism. The heavenly demon smiled faintly. I don't mind that. Unlike your patient nature, anyone who criticizes me gets eliminated. Bloodheaven went silent. The heavenly demon asked, Anything else you'd like to say? Bloodheaven bowed. Number, that's all, for now, until next time. As Bloodheaven left the room, a trace of irritation showed on the heavenly demon's face. Watching him go, the heavenly demon muttered, Such a fool. You should have seen this through to the end. Hours later, Bloodheaven was seen sipping his drink. He casually said to Wangjia, It seems your father, the cult leader, holds your elder brother in higher regard than you. Wangjia replied coolly, Is that so? His gaze sharpened with subtle disdain. Bloodheaven, perhaps we're not a good match. If I'm overshadowed by my brother, shouldn't you, as my elder, cover for my weaknesses? Bloodheaven's eyes widened. What are you implying? That I'm not enough? Wangjia answered. I mean, there's room to improve. Bloodheaven clenched his jaw. Listen, young master. Appointing Jang Ho as commander is impossible from the start. Wangjia smirked. Already given up? Bloodheaven poured himself another drink. No point in clinging to something impossible. Wangjia leaned in. I thought you were confident. Was that all just a facade? Bloodheaven paused mid-pour, visibly rattled. You claim to support me, right? Wangjia said coldly. Yet you whine like a child when I ask for something. If that's the case, he continued, you should have rejected me from the start, and never recommended Jang Ho to begin with. Bloodheaven went quiet. Wangjia drew his sword and carved a line into the ground. You once claimed the cult leader's trust, and I believed in you. He suddenly slashed through the line. But maybe there was never a true line between you and the cult leader. Seeing Bloodheaven frozen, Wangjia thought, Nothing to say now, huh? That means I win. Bloodheaven's eyes twitched. Then go ahead, try it. Wangjia answered, I will. Furious, Bloodheaven said, You're belittling me over a failure like this? Then it should be easy for you. Wangjia stepped forward. And what will you do if I succeed in persuading my father? Bloodheaven closed his eyes. Then I warn you, there may be consequences. He's confident the cult leader will refuse me, Wangjia thought, if even Bloodheaven couldn't convince him. Suddenly, Wangjia said, Let's make a wager. A bet? Bloodheaven smirked. Sounds interesting, let's do it. If you lose, Wangjia said, you'll stop complaining and become my dog, and quit whining about your side dishes. Bloodheaven grinned. And if you win? Wangjia stared him down. Bloodheaven finally said, I'll grant you any wish. Wangjia declared, If I succeed, find me an elixir, something better than the demonic essence pill. Bloodheaven's face turned pale. Do you even realize how hard that is to obtain? That's why I'm asking, Wangjia roared. His voice echoed like a shockwave. If we're on the same side, then my power is your power. Bloodheaven sat quietly. Wangjia thought, There's a reason I'm asking him for that elixir. The legendary demonic essence elixir, more potent than anything else. We see the glowing yellow elixir cloaked in powerful energy. Wangjia said calmly, If you can't make Jang Ho commander, and can't get me that elixir, then there's no point in continuing this alliance. Bloodheaven paused, then replied, Very well. If you can make Jang Ho commander, I will get that elixir for you. Wangjia unsheathed his blade and extended it forward. Do we have a deal? Bloodheaven, though clearly irritated, struck Wangjia's blade with his own. The BET was sealed. Bloodheaven walked away. Wangjia smiled. If I can consume both the demonic pill and the essence elixir, I won't lose against a supreme demon due to lack of energy. And I know how to win this bet. The next day, Wang Jia met with advisor Sima. What are the odds of Jiang Ho becoming commander of the demonic troops? He asked. Sima replied slowly, Not even 10%. Wang Jia laughed bitterly. Even you underestimate him, Sima said gravely. His name was already rejected by the cult leader. As you know, he's not someone who changes his mind. Wang Jia nodded. Then how about this? What if another supreme demon also recommends Jiang Ho, besides Blood Heaven? Advisor Sima looked up in surprise. You mean another supreme demon's endorsement? Wang Jia smiled. The scene ends with another supreme demon, a woman, gracefully dancing with her sword, scattering red petals through the air. Before you go, don't forget to tap like if you enjoyed the episode, subscribe for more epic recaps, turn on notifications so you never miss a chapter. And with that being said, Manhwa Champions, we're going to bring this video to an end. Thank you all for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will catch you all later. Peace.